Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dirt with D. It's episode either like 5 or 40. I don't know. I've lost track. Like I said, I don't keep track of episode numbers. I just come on here and do them. Um, so this weekend at the Bottle House, and I'm going to tell you who our guest is in a minute. Obviously, it's scrolling across the bottom of the banner there. So this weekend at the Bottle House, we got Friday night. We got the Legends. They're back. They're back and they're ready to rock and roll. Continuing on the Wig tour is going to be Sobriety X Friday night. It's always a party when Sobriety X hits the stage at the Bottle House. That's going to be a great night. Then Saturday night, my buddy and one of the best classic rock bands around, as far as I'm concerned. It's my humble opinion, but they're just great guys, great music. We've got Nobody's Fool hitting the stage Saturday night. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. So tonight, my guest tonight, this guy is a legend in this area. I mean, if you're a fan of rock and roll, and if you've been around here for a while, everybody's heard of this guy. Let me throw a few names out there: Sabotage, Retribution, and many, many, many more. But those are probably the most popular in this area. The guy is, when you say artist, this guy is a true definition of an artist. We're going to go into that a little bit later. I didn't realize he had such an extensive resume. I mean, this guy is just amazing. Some of the stuff he's done. I'm proud to call him a friend. He's a good guy, and we're going to have an announcement to make here in a few minutes. But I'm going to bring him on before we do that. So let's welcome him to the stage. Here he comes, Mr. Damond Jiniya. What's going on,
Hey, what's
brother?
happening?
What's happening here? I'm going to
What's
switch.
going
Let me
on,
get you
dude?
over here.
Thank you for having me.
Dude, it's a
Oh,
pleasure.
there I am,
It's a pleasure. Yeah, I
dude. It's
switch it
so
around
good
so
to
the
be
bottle
here.
house covers my face because, nobody wants to see me anyway. They came to see you.
Oh shit! And covering me now.
Not now. I switched us. How you been?
Oh god, I've been doing really good.
Been a while. So, you were
I'm
at the bottle
living.
house about a year ago.
I was, man. Bubba. I made a call out. I kind of uh, like a lot of us, since 2020, got canceled on all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
um, Took a lot of years off. So by 2022, I had or I have a project, I should say, that I'm currently working on, called Herman Nebula, and it's an original project. I'm working with a guy named Dave Goodrich here in Nashville, which is where I stay now. And Bubba was cool, man. I called him. I'm like, look, I don't have Retribution. I don't have I don't have the Blackbird Sanctuary anymore. I'm just a nobody. you know, I'm
Yeah.
starting over again. I've got original songs, and I've got this guy Dave, who's really good, and Bubba, having been a cool dude the whole time I've known him, was just like absolutely, he's one of the few people out there who and the Bottle House in general who just remembers the people that bring something to their establishment, and that's the way it should be, because every time you go to the Bottle House, you always see somebody that they particularly remember and they bring back, and
Mhm.
they've extended that courtesy to me many times. So Bubba extended that courtesy to me about a year ago, and I came down and played with Herman Nebula, which is myself and David Goodrich. um, and Originally, it was myself and Chuck Powell, from Retribution. Um, and in a weird rock and roll incestuous way, we're all still working together. But um, we're right now, we're managed by David Krebs, and he's worked with some really heavyweights. He is a guy uh, whom I met back in the Sabotage days. God, what is it now? 2025.
Yeah.
Um, I would have met David Krebs back in 2020. 2000. I'm sorry. When I very first tried out for Sabotage, I thought I was gonna fuck it up, because I didn't know any of their songs, man. I was gothic. I was bullshitting my way through it, and I ended up in some amazing company, and I'm sitting there at SIR, and to my right is this guy with dark glasses on. And you should know in Manhattan that there's always somebody. But this guy just had a very unassuming personality. Um, and even with the dark glasses, I just felt like I was talking to my father. he had a wealth of knowledge, and we just hit it off, 20 years ago. Turns out this guy, David Krebs, Wikipedia, his name. You want to talk about somebody who's done a lot in the business. I hate to name drop or anything like that, but he's worked. He's from the '70s. He comes from a famous management company called Lieber Krebs, and any of those audiophiles out there know that they worked with bands like AC/DC.
Mhm.
Uh, David Krebs specifically worked with Aerosmith. Anything from the '70s, Ted Nugent. Um, they were they were the machine. And then David Krebs went on to produce the Beatles Broadway. I think it was called Meet the Beatles, and it broke a couple of people. God, I can't think of their names, but David went on to eventually work with Paul O'Neill, which is Sabotage.
Mhm.
And when I tried out for Sabotage, the guy that I talked to in the lobby, who was being Guy Incognito, was, the guy who signed the paychecks at the time. He was the richest brother in the room, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And, he was, we were talking about, Nietzsche and all sorts of things I shouldn't talk about with strangers, but New York has that kind of like effect on people. So it was great to meet David Krebs, just like anybody else. If you've ever been to New York, it's exciting. And at the time I was 24, and David Krebs is everything I love about New York. And I go into my audition, and David Krebs follows me in there, and I'm like, oh, wow. And long story short, 20 years later, he didn't last with TSO, as a lot of people didn't. But our friendship did, our friendship endured. And when I lost my father, 20, 2018 now, and then my brother, it was in an odd way that David Krebs stepped in, not intentionally, but fatefully, not only as a male figure, but as somebody who wants to revive my career. So um, I've got this music, Herman Nebula. I'm working with David Krebs, Dave Goodrich, and we're working out of a studio in Music Row in Nashville. And David Krebs is actively looking for a deal for us. And it's a gas, to talk on the phone to people about your career. After having had so many different chances at a career, and still, he's 84, and I'm 50. I just turned 50, and
Yeah.
I've never been
You
happier.
young whippersnapper.
Right? I mean, I feel like I'm getting older, but at the same time, I feel like I wish I'd felt this way when I was in my 20s, because my mind is
I
but I
can.
do get hot flashes. Oh my God. But my mind is better now than it was in my 20s. So, um,
I agree with that one hundred
he's in
percent.
his 80s. Yeah, he's in his 80s. I'm in my 50s. And, we're discussing, big boy things, and we're working on some cool publishing ideas. And it's kind of cool. He wants me to do some live music. He wants me to get out of, the studio and
Hmm.
go out there with you beautiful people. He's kind of been my coach. I was a vocal coach for years, and now he's coaching me from my agoraphobia, which I've been kind of suffering since 2020, I'll be honest.
I'll get you out there.
So,
That actually
but
brings up a good time. Should we make an announcement?
sure.
So, I might be as cool as Bubba. Actually, Bubba is just, he's a brother, great friend, love him to death. I'm not as cool. But we actually have Damon coming to the Bottle House on September 26th. Damon is going to be live at the Bottle House September 26th. You heard it here first. Looking forward to it.
No,
That's actually my birthday week, brother.
dude, that's awesome. And I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to like, glorify Bubba over you in any way.
No, dude,
He's
he
amazing, but
did the he did this
honestly,
for a long time, bro. He basically
well, you guys,
he set the path.
Yeah, you guys are both. You give a lot of love to the Bottle House, and that's why the brand. And you think about it that way, especially after we all think differently now after the downturn and
Oh
COVID and
yeah,
lockdown and all
yeah.
that stuff. And we kind of look at it, our thing as like brands and side hustles. And you guys definitely aren't a side hustle. You weren't there to screw bands over. You weren't
Mm-mm.
there to fuck over people and make money for yourselves. And sadly, in a big city like Tampa, there were a lot of places that came and went that were like that.
Mm-hmm.
But your brand right over there, the Bottle House brand,
Yep.
has endured because you guys do what you say you're going to do, and you've always made any musician that I know happy, unless they were douchebags.
You know,
And
I
there's
tell all the
very few
guys
of
when they
those.
I tell the guys when they come in, even a new band if I've never met them before. You came in as a stranger, you're leaving here as a friend. That's the way I look at it. I consider
That's a
every
good way
every
to look
musician
at
that
it.
hits the stage as their friends. And
Yeah,
try to treat
man.
them that way. You're my friend. I'm going to look out for you, do what I can for you. And we got some great
and,
people
and
that
it
come
makes
in
a
there.
good vibe. It makes a good vibe
I
when you
think so.
play.
I think so. I mean, we've
Yeah.
got, in my opinion, one of the best stages, best light shows, best sound in the area. Obviously, we're doing the live
Yeah.
videos now. Me. I'm trying to step
Right?
that up,
Seven
and
cameras?
I'm doing 7
Like,
views. So I've got two
wow.
PTZs and a fixed camera. And this weekend, I'm going to have a. I'm working on another view. I think I'm going to have it ready to go this weekend. We're going to put
Oh,
another view
wow.
in
That's
there.
cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
How neat.
I just have to, I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing to keep telling everybody that, but I experiment. To find
Well,
stuff.
if you know what you're doing, then it's going to be the same every time, and that's a great. Another
Yeah.
thing great, about going to the Bottle House is it's a different show every time because you're learning different looks and things.
Experiments.
And a lot of the bands that I know try out new things at the Bottle House because
Yeah.
the production's there. We got Rick
Mm-hmm.
White, who
Yep.
kicks ass. I mean, I feel like I'm I wasn't hired to give a,
I
a
bring Rick up all the
testimonial.
time. We joke around. I always tell Rick is like a brother. Sometimes we're
Yeah,
at each other's throats, now, but at the end of the night, we're brothers. And I know he does a hell of a job,
yeah.
and nobody else is going to make him sound like he does. So,
Everybody there,
like I
works
said,
in
we want to
tandem
wring each
to.
other's necks. Trust me.
Yeah.
There's sometimes we look at each other and
Well, of
ah,
course.
but we're brothers.
Well, front
We're
of house,
friends. Yeah. Well,
I
we
was
both
front
have
of
the
house
same
for
goal and
years.
objective. Hmm.
Yeah, I was front of house for years, and if you're not fighting with, your fellow sound guy or light guy, then you're not friends. That's
Well,
just the way
I
it
think
is.
I think the reason is because we both want the same thing. We want it to
Yeah,
look good, sound good. We want the patrons to be happy. That's our objective. I tell everybody, the bands come in, how do we do? I said, you know what? If there's asses in the seats and the people are happy, you did fantastic. Yeah, that's what it
that's
boils
right.
down
That's
to.
right.
Every
Yeah,
band in there might not be exactly the type of music that I would listen to, but it doesn't
yeah,
matter. I'm there to make the people happy, and if you guys make them happy, I love you. Yeah, that's what it all boils down
yeah.
to. So yeah, we have a good
And when
time
the
in there.
crowd's happy, yeah, when the crowd's happy, you feel it there. There's some bars
Absolutely.
there's this disconnect between the stage and the audience. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? And
Yep.
every time, and I played the Bottle House a lot of times.
Yeah.
God, I don't even want to say how many times because I mean it's been a lot. Every time, no matter what act it was, the crowd was always, responsive. And it may be a different, like you guys may have people playing pool in the back, but
Right.
they would always turn around for a song that they liked. And,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
or some clubs, they'd want to fight you or something like that,
Yeah. Well,
depending on the
we try to keep that
neighborhood.
to a minimum there. Yeah. We
Yeah,
try to
there's nothing
control
like
that.
that. It never has been that
You
Bottle
know,
House. Bottle House keeps it clean.
I
And they
I
got great
couldn't tell you.
barbecue. At least they used to. The barbecue is
Well,
really groovy.
we don't have any food.
You,
We got food
Oh,
trucks.
that's cool. I remember you guys used to have a barbecue truck outside
Hmm.
every once in a while. So
Yeah, food
that's a
trucks are
lot.
worse. It's worse to get food trucks on a regular basis than it is bands
No,
because they come and
I can
go. They
dig it.
come and go. So that's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's easier booking bands than it is booking food trucks.
Yeah. No,
Well,
I can
not
dig
that
it. I
booking
can
bands
dig
is
it.
easy.
Well, I've
It's
I've played a couple shows, where the food truck guy, and the people that are watching this that were there have they get into it because they're
oh yeah,
sober, and they're working their
yeah.
asses off all night
Hmm.
cutting pork and cutting fucking beef,
Yeah.
and there's drunk guys who are like, you know, give me a taco, you racial slur. And this guy, I saw this one guy at the bent elbow come across the table with a hacksaw and showed his mom. He's like, ah! And we were all like, damn, and that was the last time we had. So I can see how the food truck could probably be
Yeah, I
like
mean
a,
it's a challenge. It's a challenge. But
yeah, it's a challenge.
I tell everybody the Bottle House is one of those bars. I don't care if you're white, black, green, brown, purple. I don't care. We just want you to come
Yeah.
in, be part of the family, and have a good time. So
And
I
it
don't
feels
care
that
what
way.
language you speak. I don't care about that. Come in when you come in, your family. Come over and say hi to me. Anybody
Yeah.
that walks in the door, your family. I mean, there's a few people that come in there, and they might get a little tooted up and be a little bit loud and obnoxious, but it is a bar. At the end of the
Well,
day, it's a
yeah,
bar and people are drinking. So try to
Well,
keep that in
yeah,
mind.
and those are the ones that you can get. I mean, I'm a singer, and if I'm
Mm-hmm.
wireless, it's those people that get hammered. I can go, "Hey, you, come here, man. Let's go fucking rock," and they're the ones that are like, "Yeah,
Exactly.
I fucking love
Yeah.
you, dude."
Yeah. The one playing air guitar right in
You
front
don't
of you.
get that. Yeah, with the people that come in sober, they're cool. But you go, you're like, you're singing to them, and they're like,
Yeah. Not
"Yeah,
sitting
man,
back.
yeah,
Yeah,
don't get too
check this
close."
guy out.
They'll put their mask on, and just kind of hang out
Exactly.
like,
Until about the fourth
God
shot.
bless. Yeah, until about the four shot, and they're like,
Mm,
"Yeah, dude," swinging their
exactly.
mask around.
Like I
Always a
said,
good time at the
the
Bottle
first
House.
set's always kind of the kind of mellow thing. People come in, they're checking it out, seeing what's going on, checking this band out. Hell, by the second set, that's when they're ready to get rolling. That's when they have a good
Yeah,
time.
second set is definitely it's a roller coaster, and then third set, it just depends on what you hit them with. But
Mm-hmm.
we've had some nights where people refuse to leave, and they were still wanting to
Yeah.
mosh and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
You can't hit them with Iron Maiden or Motorhead at the end of the night, man. Or people are going to want to, stay. From what I
Rick White.
remember, anyway.
Rick White's or Rick White there. Rick White's a watching. He just popped up.
What's that?
Rick White. Rick White. I can't talk. Rick is actually
That's
watching.
okay.
We were
Can you
just
say
talking
that
about you,
5
Rick.
times?
Were your ears burning? No, I
Rick
can't.
White, Rick White, Rick White, Rick White, Rick White. That's like Toy Boat. Rick White,
Exactly.
Rick White, Rick White, Rick White, Rick White, Rick White.
So you get
I
tongue
can't
tied
say
after a
it.
while.
Rick White, Rick White.
Glad it's not
Your name
it's not just
is
me.
no, it's Rick White, Rick White, Rick White. Sorry, Rick. Your name's a fucking
It's
tongue.
gonna come out comes out Dick Bright after a while.
Dick Bright. Dude, next time I see you, hey, what's up, Dick Bright?
Yeah. So we were just talking about you. Were your ears burning, Rick? We were talking about you. All good shit this time.
I love you,
for
Rick.
the most part.
Dude, he's
so
been
I don't know if Rick
making...
heard. I haven't even told Rick. I haven't told anybody that you're coming the 26th.
Oh God. Oh, that's amazing.
I didn't want to tell anybody until tonight.
I didn't tell
this
anybody.
Where we officially announce it. So yeah,
I just told my wife like 20 minutes. I just told my wife like a couple of minutes ago.
Dude.
Now she's mad at me. No, I'm kidding. I told her a long time ago.
You're messing with fire there. And she's a sweetheart. How's she doing?
By the way. Yeah. Oh, she's doing great, man. She's loving my life. We just celebrated 17 years. And it's hard to believe, when you're with the person that you're supposed to be with. Oh, I can get too gushy, but the years go by and you learn how to be yourself, and you learn how to enjoy life, and I live in a cool part of the world where people are just kind of mellow, So Kentucky is laid back. My wife's laid back.
Yeah.
I was a hyperactive child, I really was. I was like, ah! But now I've learned to, enjoy bluegrass and, the country and just good things,
Diversity,
I live a life that's good.
Music is international. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. There's a type of music out there for everybody. And I'm pretty diverse. I listen to a lot of different types of music. I just enjoy music. Yeah. But you're talking about the wife. I've got my dog. I've got Zeus, my dog. He keeps me happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got fur babies too, man.
Yeah, well, most women say, dude, you work too much. So, oh well. It's hard to have a relationship when you work 100 hours a week. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's harder and harder, at times, but when it gets there, it's meant to be, I guess. But as long as you have love in your life, whether it's got fur or it's shaved.
Absolutely. And I consider myself, well, it could be, it won't go there. I consider myself very fortunate. Got a lot of friends.
Dirty.
I've got a lot of friends, so I'm fortunate that way. So,
that's
I'll
cool,
never be lonely. In fact, I crave some alone time every now and then.
That's groovy.
So, I enjoy my just me and Zeus time on the sofa watching, him watching TV, me falling asleep.
Yeah.
Usually if I sit down and watch something within 10 minutes, I'm snoring, or he is.
Sure. Yeah, man.
Excuse me.
So, You want some tea, man? I'm just,
You get the industrial shit. I'm usually drinking coffee, but I didn't have
see,
time to
we
make
get this
coffee.
in
I got home a
Kentucky.
little bit late,
In Tennessee, we get Lee's.
and that's the real
And we
Southern sweet tea.
yeah, we water it down. That way, we get 2 gallons out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when I grew up, so my family's all mainly from like Maryland, West Virginia, but I grew up in the South. I grew up in
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, and even my family up there. I mean, when you talk sweet tea, you're talking a 5 pound bag of sugar, and then whatever room is left for the liquid. That's how they make sweet tea.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
Oh
almost have
yeah.
to believe it now.
I remember my grandmother used to put it out in the sun, and we just found
Yeah,
out
yeah,
recently
something.
that was dangerous.
Yeah,
So I
well,
wonder why I have hallucinations now. Maybe it was the sun
there you
tea.
go. Yeah, I did a lot of that too. That explains a lot now. Thank you. Oh, shit.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Lights over there flickering.
Right. No, I don't have flashbacks anymore. No, I don't have any. Here I was. I took this drug, 20 years ago, LSD, and I thought, at the very worst, I'm gonna have a flashback in 20 years. Yay! I get to experience a drug over again. And it
Yeah,
never
well,
happened, man. What
never. Yeah,
what a ripoff.
I know. It's the hype is all there, but you don't get the benefits. I've actually become
Yeah,
clean.
I've
I don't
never.
drink anymore. I don't do anything
Yeah,
anymore.
me
I don't have any
neither.
fun. I'm pretty
I
much
don't
just
do
a lump.
anything. Well, I realize that fun is it's inside of you. You know what I mean?
It
And
is.
that sounds cheesy, but when I was partying and stuff, I actually stopped drinking when I was 40. Before I was 40, actually, it's been since 2013. I have no drinky, and I'm
Good
just
for you.
better off. I'm a
Yeah.
nicer, and anybody who's known me for very long knows the Damon. They know Damien,
The
and they know
the demon
Damon.
demon.
Yeah, there's the guy that drank, and the ones that just saw it were like, no, 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 don't give him any
Yeah.
alcohol.
That's
And then
a.
there's me,
You mean this guy? Look at
and
that.
well, I was actually
That's a
sober
flashback,
there,
isn't
but
it?
that night I was wasted. I was hanging around John Oliva, of course, you know what I mean? But no,
You
that
know,
was
we were
good
just talking
times,
about
man.
this
Really
guy.
good
Can you see
times.
this
Where?
on
See,
the screen? Can you see it? That's Mr. Greg Kime. We were just talking about him a few minutes ago. Can you see it on your
I
screen?
can't see it, man. Where's
Oh, really?
Greg?
He's
No,
actually
oh,
popped
I see
on.
him right
Greg
there.
came in. I don't do any of
Oh,
that
look at
heavy
he's
shit
so
like pot. I
pretty.
just
Look at
stick with heroin.
is he still that pretty? And is he still that pretty in person?
Oh,
Look at
he's
him.
gorgeous. You know
No,
what?
he's still
I
gorgeous.
mean, I'm
I just
pretty
want to
darn
pet his
straight,
hair.
but I'm pretty straight. But if he weren't
Yeah,
married,
I know. If I was, yeah, we've been through some pretty harsh things together. That if it, it would be Greg.
yeah,
That's all I'm gonna say.
Greg. You know what? All those guys I was saying, I was telling you, they're going to be there Friday night, and
Yes.
I consider the guys friends. They're just great guys. Love being around them. They're always a blast.
Well,
Like I told you, Greggy's
funny.
married now to a wonderful lady. So
That's groovy,
we're
man.
happy for Greg. Yeah, they're a great couple.
Sobriety
She keeps
X.
them in check.
Quick story. I saw that online,
Mhm.
and I'm so happy for Greg.
Yeah,
He's a good person, and he truly has been a good friend for many years. And I'm glad to see him with happiness. You know what I mean? And I'm glad to see him with Sobriety X still,
yeah.
because they've been together like like
18
52
years.
years or something like.
Going on 19 years. When I first
Oh
had them,
my
because they were the
god!
first band back in January, and it was 18 years, so they got to be going on 19 now.
I couldn't even last 10 with Retribution. I mean,
Mhm.
that's killer. I mean, they've really, to make something work, marriages, any relationship, you have to really put a lot of work into it. So my
My
hat's
longest
off.
relationship was 10 years.
That,
Hmm.
20 years that they've had it over both of us. And they were really kind to Retribution. Speaking of sporting the shirt,
Yep, no kidding.
um, they
19 years,
were
September.
really kind. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They Sobriety X, when Retribution was nobody, and I was coming back and we were trying to reestablish ourselves. Nobody would give us a shot. We were playing shitty gigs, and the LA Hangout was open at that time, and everybody wanted to play the LA Hangout, and that was the
Mhm.
time. And the ones that were there, you know who you are. Sobriety X got Retribution up, and this was back when we had the first line, but we had already practiced to do like 3 short versions of songs, and we did a good job. But it was Sobriety X, I think, that all of us agreed helped to propel Retribution into whatever spotlight we ended up in, and it was really rapid. It was like they told their friends, and we went from zero to hero within like a month. We had no calendar, and then our calendar was full. So Sobriety X, if you're watching, Greg, if you're watching, I owe you a big steak dinner or a good humor bar.
Better watch it. He'll probably take you up on that. Greg, he
Oh,
will
I
be
know
here in
he will.
September. He'll be here in September. Be at the
Banana.
Bottle House. He owes you a steak.
That's right. I'll bring you a
sell you
banana
out.
frost at least. Oh
bring those
man.
guys a bottle of Jaeger. They're all happy.
Oh yeah. Just pour it on them.
Still love their Jaeger.
Yeah, they're awesome, man. All those guys, Rick and God, it's like I've known those dudes collectively for like 1,000 years. I feel, because I've known one member of the band one way or another since like Thorn Dyer, and people that they knew, I knew, and I was introduced to people in that band back when I was like 19. I just didn't know it, and now I see them, I'm like, hey, are you? And they're like, yeah, we knew Uncle Ben, and all that stuff. So it's cool how Tampa Bay kind of sticks together, and we just sort of undulate into different, routines.
Absolutely. And I just put this up on the screen from Greg. It says, I'll quote Butch on this. And we aren't playing. We want other good bands to play. It brings up the whole music scene or the whole scene. And he's right. And
that's what I love about him.
Yeah. But this whole area, I'm really impressed because musicians support each other around here. When guys aren't playing, they're coming out to see other bands. They're being supportive of other bands. And, I see that every weekend. I think it's a great thing. It wasn't like that back in the old days.
No, well, I mean, it was and it wasn't. Florida's always been a rock and roll town, and there, like if you go back to death metal days, and I'm old, so I remember, back in the Skipper Road days, and those who remember, Morbid Angel, it was a good time. There were a lot of great artists that were coming out of these little storage spaces, you know what I mean? But there was a lot of belief in Tampa, and even though it's changed, and we don't have the industry of like death metal and all the different genres that have come from Tampa. And if you go back and count, there's been several, that Tampa started, from types of electronic music to death metal, to if you go back in the Wayback Machine, there were even like soul groups from Tampa that were dominating the charts. So Tampa's got a rich history in music. And again, not to stroke the bottle house, but every time I've gone in there when I wasn't playing, there was a different band playing. Because one night I would go in, there'd be like a country band playing. Another night I'd go in, there'd be a soul band playing. Another night I go in, I'd be playing, and I'd come into it and I'd be like, fuck, I'm playing. What am I going to say?
Yeah. And we're still trying to maintain that. Yeah, we're still trying to maintain that, the difference in genres. Yeah. I mean, I've got great country bands coming in. We just have a really diverse group of musicians coming through the door, and I like it that way. We could try to give a little bit of everything to everybody. I'm still trying to find, I want to try to find like a good Motown band. Some old 70s.
Yeah. I don't know anybody. I mean, back in the day, it was like the Black Honkies, I think. That's a terrible name, but the Black Honkies. You can't say that in St. Louis. If you say the Black Honkies in St. Louis,
I mean, they got
they're big,
guys.
Man.
They don't fit on stage.
Such a great band. Such a great band.
Set them up halfway out on the dance floor just to make everybody fit.
Have an outside stage, people walk in. You got the Black Honkies outside in the parking lot. But yeah,
they've been around.
Amazing.
I mean, them. Obviously, Sobriety X. Why can't I think of the name? Stormbringer. I mean, there's like 3 of the bands that have just been around forever. And
Stormbringer was around when I was in high school.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, I was at Plant High School.
Yeah.
95 YNF, if you remember. God, I'm dating myself, man. It was like 95 YNF playing at Gators on the Pass, Stormbringer. And I'm like, oh, man, I got to sneak into that, man.
Yeah, but they're still out there doing it every weekend. Well, not necessarily every weekend, but they're steady. They're out playing.
Yeah. Every member of that band is a craftsman. I know a
Hmm.
few of them, so I'm not going to call anybody out in particular because I don't. They fight, and I don't want to cause a fight. I'm just kidding. They don't fight, you know, but they're all so good. And as a vocalist, I listen for the vocals, and I'm never not satisfied at the vocal performance that all of them deliver.
Hmm.
First of all, and then second of all, the music is just. I know people don't want you to do that anymore, so I'll. Oh, you can't do that
No,
either.
we're not politically correct
Um,
on here.
can,
If we were,
how about this?
I would have been booed at like my second show. Yeah, there you go. You can do the devil horns because that's not really devil horns.
Well, it's like Mickey Mouse,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you
Hey!
can do that. Yeah, that's so funny.
Oh.
So when I first brought you on here, I was telling
Mm-hmm.
everybody that you are a true artist, and when I say true artist, I
Thank.
mean that. I don't think a lot of people know about your. You do have a pretty extensive resume. So let's go through this. Okay, you're a published author. You have two books out.
Yeah.
I'm going to rat you out here. I'm going to pop these up here. So you have two published books.
Okay. Oh,
This is
there it
the
is.
first
I
one.
had to change the
That's
cover of that. Yeah, I had to change the cover of that because
well,
it was originally called Anarchist Poems, thinking it would be like the Anarchist Cookbook, and nobody
I got to
bought it
find what I
because.
can find. Well, I'm
But
sure you
that's the
bought it.
new cover.
Well,
No,
here's
that's
the
the
other
new
one.
cover. Yep. And that's fiction. And
Okay.
it was really. Those were labor of love. My mom passed away in 2022 of vascular dementia. She survived COVID. She was in a home, up in Maine, and from what I heard, helped others. When I met her, she was severely diminished, and then she passed, about eight
That's a
months
shame.
after that.
That's horrible. Sorry
But
to hear
then
that, man.
after, oh, it happens to everybody, and
It does.
um, what it did for me was to, open me up, I guess, to all the things that she taught me, like your
Hmm.
mother, your father, the people that are smarter than you teach you things your entire life, you know what I mean? And whether you take them in is your own thing. But when they die, that shit sets in, you know what I mean? And it's wonderful because a lot of the lessons she taught me were just of strength and of self-preservation, you know what I mean? And she was a singer.
Hmm.
And it's just, really good to still have her spirit with me and still be singing because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be singing.
Yeah, it's hard losing family. I know that.
Yeah,
One of the worst things about getting older is losing people you care about because
that's
it's
true.
inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen to us all. My father passed
Can I
away
show
in
you something?
2013. Absolutely, that's what I was waiting for.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro.
That's
Um, oh, hold on. This is something that I wanted to show you that Lauren Alexander painted for me. She is becoming pretty well known in the Nashville area. And my wife reached out to her, and that's just a shameless plug for Lauren, but I think she deserves it. She puts a lot of work into her art, and my wife commissioned her to paint that picture of my mom after she passed away. So with that said, having that picture and my mom looking at me, right here in my studio, it helps. And you lose people, but they stay with you in memory.
oh yeah, yeah. My father, he's
And
been
I'm
gone
sorry you
for.
lost your dad, man.
It's been truthfully, he lived a lot longer than he should have with his. We talked briefly before you came on. He was a POW. He was a SOG member for many years, so he should have never came home. Quite honestly.
Right.
So he was around a lot longer than expected. So yeah, your crutch back there, you're banging on your light. Somebody needs a
Well,
crutch.
I think I'm okay. I was just seeing if it was secure, man.
But before you came on,
It's just,
obviously you come from a musical family.
I think it's balancing there. I don't
I
know what
know. I
happened.
see that. I know
It's,
that. I
it's,
know the story behind that. So nobody else does. I know the story.
well, I'll tell you the story if you want. You want me to tell you the story real quick?
Tell everybody else story. Yeah, we've talked about it. Tell everybody else.
Okay. Well, I was in a Guns N' Roses tribute band recently. I won't say the name. And it was a learning experience. I learned what I don't want to do in the future. That's why I really went headfirst into writing, and doing my own
Mhm.
kind of music. Because a lot of these tribute bands work their asses off. I
Oh,
see it,
hell
and
yes.
and
Yeah.
God bless them. But man, I really miss originality. And that's
Yeah.
my own. That's my own trip. But it really pushed me back in the other direction. You know what I mean? And God bless all the other people that are tributing, the greats. I just want to be true to myself. And when I was in a tribute band, it was like, man, I got to go back and write songs, man. I'm getting scared here. I'm turning into fucking Elvis Presley, like it made me think of the first time I ever saw an Elvis impersonator. And I was like, Mom, what is that? And she's like, that's the king. I'm like, that's not the king,
That's not the king.
uh, yeah. So it's weird now because as a kid, I was in the music business and there was a lot of Elvis impersonators. They were the first
Oh
tributes.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid of them. Like some people are afraid of clowns. I was fucking afraid of Elvis impersonators, man. Anytime they'd be at a talent contest with me, I'd be like, Mom, help! I just really
With
got
the
something
sequin
creepy
suits.
about them. Secret suits, it was the big bulge, you know what I mean? The
Uh-huh.
the macho ness, really,
Yeah.
and every one of them talked like this, and looked like they were gonna knock you over and teabag you or something. I don't know, man.
For those of you who don't know what teabag is, look it up.
Oh
We're
no,
not
I
going to
was
that on
talking
here.
about my tea.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it's tea.
yeah.
Yeah, God, you guys are such dirty minds, man.
I can't help it. Look what I do for a
Nothing
living.
dirty going on around here, baby.
So, okay, we talked about you come. You actually have a, I know as we get older, our voices don't always hang on. They don't hang on. As you get older, you lose stuff. But you actually have a 7.5 octave vocal range.
I been told that. My manager
It's on
said
Wikipedia, dude.
something
It's got
about
to
it.
be true. If it's on the internet, it's true. I
Well, I looked
told you, I
into the
wikied your
Wikipedia thing.
ass.
All right, I don't know how Wikipedia works, but
Well, you're on
I
there.
I can't believe that. That's
Yeah.
that's mind blowing. I mean,
It's
I've
actually
never
you ought
made
to check it
any.
out. It's actually really good. I
I'll
mean,
check
I
it
learned a
out.
lot of
I've
stuff
made
that
no
obviously I
money
didn't
with.
know. No,
I
no,
made
you're not
no
going to
money
make it.
with 7.5
You
octaves.
made
No.
as much money doing that as you are doing this podcast.
Yeah, right. Exactly. 7.5 octaves has got me maybe 8 copies.
Exactly. But you do. I mean, you have that vocal
No,
range. So
I've
you
had a
have
really good
you have
time. And
a pretty strong vocal range, which is quite
thanks.
impressive. I have like a 1 octave range. This is it.
Oh yeah.
This is my talking
Well,
voice, my singing
sometimes,
voice, this is my pissed off voice, my happy voice. It's everything. This is it.
well, like Jello Biafra, from like Dead Kennedys, Chuck D, from
Mm-hmm.
like the Public Enemy. He's got one
Mm-hmm.
octave, but he knows how to use it.
Yeah.
Bass. How low can you go?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to use my one, so that's why I always tell everybody.
Yeah.
My mother heard me sing, and she bought me a
Mm-hmm.
guitar. Then she heard me play guitar and
Ah,
said, "You ought to be a carpenter."
right. I wanted to be a bass player, and they made me a singer. Man,
Yeah.
I was a singer when I was a kid. I sang country music with my mom, and I got out of it because I did all these high profile shows. And by the time I was like 11, I thought it was campy, and I thought, singing was lame. And I had to kind of have a talk with my mom. I'm like, look, ma, so I was a has been for about a year, and I went to New Hampshire, and I'd like to give a shout out to my friend Danny Duliet, hopefully who's watching out there. Old friend, man. Was my first band, Cursed, with him together. And we actually had an acronym. It was Knights Unleashing Rage, Siege, and Terror. We were 12, you know what I mean? And Danny and I decided that we were going to do a shock rock band because at the time Wasp was really popular.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally went to this. I went from country music, and I mean traditional country, no drums. My family, argued about when Alabama got a rock drummer. I mean, this is how country my family was. They're like,
Oh yeah.
Alabama ain't rock no more.
Oh
Look, that
yeah.
guy's got an earring. Look at him.
Mm-hmm.
He looks
Yep.
like he should be playing for David Lee Roth. There in Van Halen, and this thing in my mid '80s came through, where traditional country got snuffed out by this sort of new produced country, and my
Yep.
mom was definitely part of the old wave with no drums, stand up bass, or a low bass, kind of thing. So I was raised really traditionally, um, and when I met my friend Danny Duliet, he was into Ozzy, and we were wicked into Ozzy, dude. And let me tell you, we played Wasp, and I didn't sing. I played the fucking bass, brah. And I mean,
Stand up.
I thought I was the best bass player in the whole Northeast, right? This is how I talked when I was 12. And and one day, Danny, God bless him, uh, the singer didn't show up.
Multitasking.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
he comes over, and I'm warming up, and he unplugs me, and he's like, listen, can you sing? And at the time, this was like the late '80s, man. The only singers out there to me were like Bret Michaels and people I didn't really want to emulate. I didn't really care about the singers. I didn't like Warrant very much back then. I do now, but I didn't like Janie Lane. I got a picture of your house
Yeah.
and you're standing by the door. I mean, I'm sure that pissed a lot of metalheads off, man. You come
Oh yeah.
home from a hard day's work and you got some blonde dude staring at you close up. But so we put together a shock rock band, and we our first gig was at uh, the Philbrook Center, which was a hospital. Danny uh, had ended up going there, and it wasn't because he did anything. He came from a religious family, and I don't want to tell tales out of school, but from what I heard, he wasn't allowed to go do something, so he acted possessed. and, normally during the satanic panic that would get you shit, but it
What?
backfired on him, and it got him put into this hospital,
Mm-hmm.
and this is about the time that I met him, and he was kicked out of school, and had really cool tattoos and just a really great person, but definitely on his own course. And we put this band together, with blood and makeup and all this stuff. And he's like, "You want to play because he got out of the hospital, obviously. He's like, "You want to play the hospital?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So the first like rock and roll gig I ever did was at the Concord, New Hampshire hospital for mentally ill children, and we played in a basketball court with bars, and they had to take one of them out and give them a Thorsing shot. I can't make this shit up, man. I mean, it really happened. But what is a 13-year-old kid that's talking about pouring blood on them? What kind of gig are they going to get in Concord,
Man,
New
the basic.
Hampshire? I didn't grow
Well,
up
I
in
was bad because I
Florida,
did the chicken
but
wire stages. Yeah.
oh yeah, now like Nasty Ronnie, man, I remember that guy. That guy was a trip.
Oh
Do you
God,
remember
the good old
Nasty
days.
Savage? Remember
No,
those
I think that was
bands?
before me.
Nasty
I think that was
Savage, man, that was yeah, metal.
that was a while before me. Yeah. I mean, I am
They
old.
they destroyed televisions.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I
So
have
yeah.
one or two band members of the Bottle House that destroy televisions. It's a little
Oh,
inside
the ones
joke.
on the side.
If David Taylor ever watches this, I don't know if you know him. David Taylor
Uh-oh.
plays bass for Center, and he's one of those. He's very animated,
I
and he was going
I
crazy,
think I
and
might know
bam,
him.
he crashed into one of our TVs and broke it.
Oh, well,
He
hey
felt
man, at
bad.
least
I
he was
said,
good
dude,
in it as well.
I thought, dude, that is most freaking rock and roll thing that's ever hit the Bottle House stage. You broke the
Yeah,
TV.
man.
I said, come on.
That's nice. Well,
So
I'm
that
glad he
is
didn't
rock
break
and roll.
himself.
No,
That
no,
is
he
good.
he felt bad. I saw him. He said, man, I feel so bad. I said, hey, dude, it can be replaced. I said, but we can't replace those memories. You breaking the
That's true.
TV. I told him every time he plays me, I'm going to wrap the
Yeah.
TVs in caution tape. Of course, the stage was a little bit
Hey,
different
don't.
back then too. We had two big humps on the side, and we revamped the stage and made it a little bit better and bigger. There you go. Stage is bigger
Oh,
for you when you
groovy.
come. Yeah, we added on to it.
No, that's
So
fantastic.
you'll love that. Since you are coming again,
Yeah.
September 26th, Damon will be back on the
September
Bottle House stage where he
26th.
belongs. That's right. All right, so
Nah,
go
man,
on.
you guys were the first to bring me there a year ago, so thank you for having me back a year
We
later.
started talking,
Uh,
and
I,
I said, let's get you on the stage. Yeah, let's do it.
yeah, I
We'll
get
figure
back
out a way to
around
make it
that
happen.
way every once in a while.
Hmm.
I appreciate you putting me
It's
up.
home.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, it's home. We even got a stock room that you guys can sleep in overnight if you want to. So we don't care.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Nice. I
So
might take you up on that, man.
I'm going to bring up something I bet you a lot of people don't know about you.
Okay.
You were actually in a movie. You were an
I
actor in a
was.
movie. Yes, the name of the movie is
Yep.
Chasing the Tiger. See, I
Yep.
found all kinds of stuff on you. It was an independent film.
Wow.
So tell everybody about that. Yeah, Damon has a background in acting as well. My God, you are diverse. I tell
Yeah.
everybody you're a true artist. You've done it all.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I did. It was a, a director in Nashville when I was in the cover band called Cousin It. I want to give a shout out to my brother Dave Goodrich, uh, whom I'm working with. Herman Nebula. I've known him since the early '90s, and Cousin It was the band that I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, to make a long story short, um, Adam Lenhart, the director, approached me with this idea for a story that was mirrored the Crow. He was really a Crow fan, and at the time, I was younger, and he thought that my look, kind of looked like that, I guess, and he wanted to have that kind of character in his movie, like a gothic type of guy, So he put me in a leather coat, and I had to learn a bunch of lines, and it was a pretty complex script. I had never shot a movie. The first scene, I had to sit there and hug a girl while her boyfriend sat and gave us tips on how to hug, which was fucking weird, man. I was like, I don't know if I can hang in this business. I'm not surprised I got all freaky, man.
Well, I was going to watch it, but then you said it wasn't porn. So I thought, well, what the hell's the point? No, okay.
No porn, no porn. I mean, there's my light porn. No, there's no porn at all. It's a storyline where me and a girl are in love, and it's kind of in the now where I'm 10 years or a year later, and I play this character Evan, who has lost his girlfriend, and the movie basically starts with me in a rehab, explaining, my play, and the rehab is run by my sister. I tell my sister that I got some shit to do, and it's a short movie. So, and I go to the dealer's house that killed my wife, a girl or whatever, and I kill him. So I got to kill a guy in a movie, and it was awesome. Well, I didn't kill him. I made him OD, which was even cooler. I got to hold him at gunpoint and make him OD. That was fucking great, man. And they made me do it over and over. The best part of making the movie was we had this scene where we I had to hold a gun to my head in front of a gravestone. And I lived in the ghetto, kind of. I had like a ghetto mansion because it was cheap, and
Yeah.
people aren't. I'm not afraid of people, so living in ghetto, I don't give a fuck. But the graveyard that was near me, anyway, I'm down there, and I've got this gun to my head, and we're reshooting the scene over and over and over again. And there's this bingo bus or something across the way, and there's all these women. They're like, "He gonna shoot that boy! He gonna shoot that man! Somebody call the police!" And they're yelling. There's all these old women and shit. They're like, "He gonna shoot that man!" So we had to get out of there quick. And there was a lot of guerrilla filmmaking. We had no uh, permits. The guy who shot it went to Watkins Art College and was a graduate, and it actually had something to go to Cannes, a movie called Green. And I think that the actor went on to be somebody, but that was his claim to fame. And I get to be part of his catalog of, like, 6, 7 movies. His name's
Mm-hmm.
Adam Lendhart. And the movie's called Chasing the Tiger, man. It's out there. And
Yeah.
I can't believe you found that. I've got a copy somewhere, but it's probably in the bottom of a box somewhere,
Yeah.
man.
Just
It
just
was
be
good. It was my
happy.
first time acting.
Just be happy. I got home later than expected today because I only had about a half an hour to put everything together. I would have dug deeper.
Oh, oh, if you got any questions, I got answers.
Well, so everybody knows. So Damon does have a Wikipedia page. and it's actually pretty
Yeah.
extensive. It
Wow.
goes, I mean, the list of bands that you've been a part of. I mean, it's just, I mean, my God, I wasn't kidding when I said you have a diverse resume and background. You've done a little bit of everything. So you're a
Well.
published author. You're a
Mhm.
singer. You play multiple instruments. You're an
Hmm.
actor. God, what else?
I'm a
What haven't you done? Let's put it
I'm a
that way.
stagehand as well.
You're a
I do
stagehand.
AV
All right.
work.
Yeah.
I'm a stagehand. I do really big shows, like corporate shows. I
Mm-hmm.
just got done with one. I'm going back tomorrow, and they're like corporate shows, where I do lighting and rigging, and again, a shout out to Op Team and all my boys out there, John Goodrich, and all the people that work their asses off out there building the stages. Now that's something I've done since I was 19. I worked for the IATSE 321 in Tampa, with Juan Gonzalez, who kind of taught me the business, and I got to, instead of going in and being a rock star right away, I went in and built stages and got yelled at, and got shit thrown at me and got called things that I just wasn't. And it taught me, it made me tough. And I'm still doing stagehand work now. I'm 50, and it makes me feel good to be able to walk, 20 miles a day, and still build shows, and still be taken seriously doing that kind of work, because it's harder when you get old. There is
Oh, I
ageism,
know.
and
Oh,
thankfully
trust
it
me,
doesn't
I know.
exist. Yeah, it's real, and in the stagehand world, as long as you do what you're supposed to do, like anything else, they kind of give you, they treat you like a professional, which is nice. Any stagehands out there, definitely hats off to you. Long time stagehand since I was 19.
Well, the reason I bring all this stuff up, obviously most of the people around here, probably 80% of the people who are watching, I mean, they basically when they think of you, they think of sabotage and retribution. But the
Oh
point I
yeah.
was trying to make is there's so much more to you than just sabotage and retribution. There's so much more to
Well,
you
thank
and
you.
your history, your background, your diversity, that everything that you've been involved with. I mean, like I said, and I said it before, and I'll say it one more time. When people say artist, I mean, you are a true artist because you've done so many things. You've had your hand, and you've been successful at so many different things. I mean,
Well,
you're a published author. I mean, not many people can say they're actually
thank you.
published. Um,
Thank you, man.
what else? I mean, be proud of your history because not many people can claim. Damn, think he's popping up. Can claim some of the stuff that you've done, and you've been successful at it. And look at you now. You're still
Well,
doing what you enjoy.
life's
You're,
a journey, not
yeah,
a
you're
destination.
still performing. You're still a musician. At 50 years old, you're still doing what you wanted, what you enjoy doing. I mean, me, the music industry, this is a way for me to stay in it without, people ask me all the time, why don't you play anymore? Well, I still do. Just because I'm not playing live doesn't
Mhm.
mean I don't play. I'm on the other side of the microphone now doing this kind of stuff. And I actually enjoy this
Yeah.
because to me, I'm helping to promote live music and local musicians. And to me, that's really important. We didn't have all
You
this
seem
stuff
at
back when I was
ease.
playing. Yeah. It's just to me that's
Yeah.
it's a way of contributing.
Well, you contribute, and you can only contribute doing what you feel at ease doing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And if you were doing something that you weren't at ease, it would feel like work, and work sucks, right?
Well,
And you certainly
yeah.
put me at ease. So you found your calling here in the pod. Is this a podcast? This is my third podcast. I'm so
It's like
old.
a pod web. I mean, I don't even know what to call it. It's not a there's so many different acronyms, and so a podcast is supposed to be audio. So this is a webcast slash podcast slash whatever the hell we want it to be. And I tell everybody this
Well,
is
I just
not
want
my
to say,
forte. I'm no Joe Rogan. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just get on and talk. I talk about
I don't think
if
Joe
I were on here
Rogan's
talking to
Joe
a doctor,
Rogan.
I'd be lost. I talking to musicians, I feel like
Yeah.
okay, well, at least I can relate.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing this for a long time. And another thing, I mean, when Bubba was there was a lot, there was a team, and nobody
Mm-hmm.
can do it alone. And of course, Bubba
Absolutely.
was the face. And, but, you were always there, and everybody was always there, just making sure that the place was clean.
Yeah.
The restrooms were nice, and the fighting was 2-0, and the bands are buried there. So, thank you for taking a love for music, because without your love for music, long-haired, weirdos like me wouldn't have a place to go and yell. We all help
I
each
told you
other, believe
when
me,
we first
man.
started talking. I told you always got a home at the Bottle House. All you got to do is say the word. We'll get you on there one
Oh,
way or
you've
another.
proven that.
Yeah,
You've proven that many
we're glad to have you
times.
back. And we're thrilled to have you back.
uh
And I think you
I
and
feel
everybody around here. I mean, again, nobody knew about it because I didn't say anything to anybody until tonight. But
I
I
didn't say
guarantee you,
anything
there's gonna be a
either.
lot of people looking forward to it.
I sure hope so.
Oh, absolutely.
I've got Richie Reeder, on drums. A lot of people don't know Richie. Richie's a recluse like me, but he played with Gary Shutt. He played with Blackbird Sanctuary. He's the
Hmm.
drummer that played with us, and hands down, I have played with drummers since I was a kid. And I played with some really, really good drummers. Sabotage was no slouch.
Hmm.
I was a drum tech for Pete Sandoval for Morbid Angel, no slouch. But note for note, and I'm not pumping him up so they come to the show.
But you can pump 'em up.
Richie Reeder, I will pump him up because he's
Absolutely.
amazing. I mean, first time I ever played with him, I don't hear so well. A lot of people don't know that. I've had 8 surgeries on my ears. When I was a kid, I had a really bad infection and it kept dogging me. And to this day, I only have 30% hearing, which a lot of people don't know. I read a lot of lips, and as my eyes are going, people just think I'm stupid. But uh, uh,
I get accused of that all the time, so don't feel bad.
uh, what the fuck you're saying, but it's a fucking wonderland for me, man. But yeah, I've got Richie Reeder on drums. Just stick tight. I can't. Just incredible. Every note is there, and then some. He's really and very humble, and got a great attitude. I've got uh, Mark Welsh, and he's played
No Mark.
many times.
No Mark.
Stealing
No Mark well.
Crowns, and
Yep.
me
Mark's good
and
people.
him are like brothers. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
We've known each other. Oh, God, almost 20 years. And uh, his significant other is Gary Muchmore's daughter,
Hmm.
and Gary Muchmore was local Tampa Bay, somebody much much higher up in the Tower Song than I am, because he contributed so very much. He was our sound guy for Sabotage, and he passed away a few years ago. And Mark is with his daughter, so it's like a family with him. And then on guitar, we've got Chris Dupre, uh, which if you haven't seen him, he kind of stays on the beach. Um, but
You know what? The name really
he
does sound
also,
familiar.
well, he has a band called American Mayhem.
Hmm.
And I
Oh
don't
yeah, I
know
know.
much about
Okay,
American.
they play at the Bottle
Okay,
House. I'm gonna
he's
say
probably
when you
watching,
said that,
going,
I'm thinking
"Tell
the
him
name
about
sounds very
American
familiar.
Mayhem."
Well, now
Yeah,
yeah, I know him. Yeah, good guy.
I
Good
haven't been
guy.
around for a while.
Yeah, good guy.
Great guy.
Hmm.
I met him. I met him at the bus station.
Hmm.
And I'm just kidding. um, I was doing a open jam night at a place over by the Causeway, and I was failing. I'm not really. I'm a piano player. I'm not a
Hmm.
musician. I can play multi instruments, but it's in the studio, and I just wasn't having much luck. And then I ran into Chris, and Chris just literally came into town from Orlando, and he very quickly became my compadre. And we put together a duo of a jam night before COVID, and we did it religiously every Tuesday night at Mr. Joe's. Do you remember Mr.
Hmm.
Joe's?
Hmm.
I don't know if it's still around, but um,
Hmm.
and we
Yeah.
developed a really good rapport. He's an interesting cat, but so am I. And we've got a really interesting cast of characters, really high musicianship. None of them are
Hmm.
slouches. And the list of songs that we have chosen are things that we're not going to pick any real deep cuts, but we're going to do some classics, that you'll want to hear. And I'm just excited to get out there and sing again, man. I haven't been singing like I used to, but I did the Guns N' Roses tribute, and I had no problems, So I guess preserving it is a good thing, because I'm singing every day, and it just seems to get stronger, And I wake up
Good,
singing, so
good. Like I said,
that's
I wake up singing too, and the dog howls and the neighbors complain, and
that's why my dog howls too. So I mean, that means you're doing a good job, man.
somebody told me that I have a voice for doing this. I said, yeah, I actually have a face for radio.
Right? Yeah, I was told that too when I was a teenager, man. They were like, "You got a face for radio, kid." Oh boy,
I'm sticking to
so I was cross-eyed.
it.
It took a nice punch in the forehead to make him actually come out normal.
So so you have a new release coming out this year too, don't you?
I do. It's actually not me solo. I mean, it's a collective project, between myself and David Goodrich, who's a Nashville cat, who I've known for 30 years. If you came to the last show, which you were there, Dave was my guitar player there.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
we did some other Love Bone, Jane's Addiction. Really, really talented guy, and has a great studio in the heart of Nashville. And he probably right now, if he's not watching this, is working on a lick on our new hit. We've got about 5 hits. And when I say hits, these were handpicked by David Krebs as songs that he wants to promote. So
fantastic.
Thankfully, at 50, I'm not stabbing in the dark. I've got a guy who's 80 who's wanting to, promote these. And, as dark as the music industry is right now, oh man, I've got a lot of hope. So, and I've got really good people on my side. Yeah.
Well, I'd go through
I
your
feel
whole
lucky.
list of your releases, but we don't have that much time because it's pretty deep. How many releases off the top of your head have you put out? I mean, I can go to the page.
Well,
and tell
I
you,
put out. I was in a band called Diet of Worms when I was a kid, and that was with Juan Punchy Gonzalez, and we did 3 records, and we toured the world with that, as not because we were like famous, but because we we offered up our tour support. So I was a lighting guy, and my guitar player was the tour manager for the headliner. And we were like, you know what? We'll give you a break on the price if you let us open up. Kids, remember this. and we got out there. We got to eat off catering, and we got to get a higher profile. And Diet of Worms propelled us.
That is promotion.
Well, it's called work. Like when we had to drive the bus, we had to get catering. I mean, as a tour manager and as a light, front of house, he was also doing sound. We didn't sleep. And it was for a little lower budget band. So when I cut my teeth in music, I mean, I was definitely called a bitch more times than I was called a cool guy in the beginning. And so I had to definitely become humble by fucking up, as a tech.
The best way to learn things is the hard way. Yeah,
always.
I'm a firm believer
I would prefer it any other way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how to do it any other way. I'm an O'Connor, by birth.
I think you appreciate it. You appreciate it more when you learn things the hard way. You have an appreciation that you don't. If it's handed to you, you don't have that appreciation. So you came up.
I've noticed that.
You came up from this level up to. I mean, you were in one of the biggest bands. Back in the early 2000s. Sabotage was huge. I mean, you guys, you weren't playing the Bottle House then.
No, we did play the Green Parrot though, and that was pretty cool, man.
Yeah. But you were a national act. I mean, you were touring. You were touring the freaking world. Yeah, you weren't playing the Bottle House.
And I was 20. I was 24.
Yeah.
It was. I was fat. I'd gotten fat, by the time I was like 20, because I was smoking a lot of pot and eating a lot of moons
Munchies.
over
Got
my
them
hammy.
munchies.
And I was with a friend that just laid around and watched Cartoon Network. Remember Cartoon Network?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed to admit, but yeah, I know.
And I
I
would
was
just get
Doritos.
bigger and bigger and bigger. So by the time I was about 20, man, I had my first panic attack. And again, this is after several incarnations of trying to, play music, moving. I moved a lot as a kid. God, I
So
moved
do
a
I.
lot. Were you military?
Sherry about down there. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I was not. My mom was just had the wanderlust,
Hi,
and she
Sherry.
was a musician. And hey, Sherry, what's up? Is that
Yep.
Sherry
She's probably
Bow? I
doing.
can't see
Uh
it.
huh. Yep.
Oh,
Yep. She's
cool.
doing
Nice
pretty
to
good.
see you, Sherry. I
Yep.
hope to see
Yep.
you at
She's
the
on there.
show. You
I'm
rock.
sure. I'm sure we'll convince her to come. Right, Sherry?
She's been a
She'll come.
long time supporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, first time I saw Sherry, I think it was our first show at Beer and Biscuits. If I'm not
Mhm.
Beer and Biscuits.
That's a classic. That's
I
a classic.
remember there's actually a performance of Retribution playing at Beer and Biscuits from like 2009, Monkey Business, and it was the first song that we ever played. And Mark, our drummer, God rest his soul, was playing at the time, and it was a different time back in 2009 or
Yeah,
whatever,
it was.
2009, and we were back there, me and
Well,
Chuck
there you go.
Powell. And now we're doing Herman Nebula. Speaking of what we're doing now, David Goodrich, myself, and Chuck Powell are doing Herman Nebula. We picked 5 songs that we believe our manager, David Krebs, believes are hits. So,
Mhm.
now we're looking for a leg up, man. It's a hustle. And now the hustles began. I'm 50 and I'm not getting any younger. So I'm really going to hustle.
No, you say 50 like it's old. Now you're kind of making
No,
me feel like I'm like a
no,
quarter step away from my casket. Actually, I
no,
feel
it's
good.
not old. I didn't
59
think
and
that I
feeling
would
good.
live to see 30. Right. No, you look
Truthfully,
great,
truthfully,
man.
brother, I didn't either. I didn't think 40, whatever. I didn't think I'd make it that far. And now I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
me neither, man.
60
I was
doesn't sound
actually
too bad.
impressed. Right. 60 sounds great now, man. I feel
Yeah, no, it
great
doesn't
at
sound bad.
50. When I was
But you know what?
29, I freaked out.
Oh
I
yeah.
had a meltdown. Now I could tell you that story, but I don't know how long you got, but I freaked out when I was 29. I had a nervous breakdown turning 30. I didn't think I'd live to see 30. And the biggest thing is I thought I couldn't trust myself after that.
I know where you're coming from. Trust me. Watch out. You got to lean on that crutch there a little bit.
Right? I got my crutch, man. Yeah,
But you know what? I look at
that's funny.
30 years ago, people that were 60 looked old. Notice that?
Isn't that weird? Well, they were
Yeah.
from a different time, the
Yeah, it's
great
true. Yeah.
generation or whatever. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the depression was hard on them. So
Yeah.
you kids today, man, if you guys don't fuck around, you better start fucking now, because that depression, that'll make you ugly. You don't want to
Exactly.
get ugly like your great
Yeah.
grandparents were ugly.
Yeah.
You want to get out
But
there and do some fucking and make some beautiful children.
that's right. That's right. That keeps you
Sorry,
young.
that was my. It's
That keeps you
true.
young.
I mean, it
Physical
does.
physical
It does.
activities keep you young. And whatever physical activities they
Physical
are,
activity.
yeah.
That's right.
It definitely
Yeah,
keeps
you
you.
don't have
I mean,
to.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
don't have to
GC.
have relations.
I'm out there busting my ass, sweating my ass off every day, and I'm convinced that it actually helps keep me young. I typically do
That's
between
well, I'm a
13 and
stagehand.
15,000 steps a day because I'm on my feet
Wow.
all day
Yeah.
long. It's
That's what
pretty
I do
insane,
as a
man. Yeah.
stagehand. I work like a convention center downtown
You're
Nashville, and it's literally 12 miles, 15 miles a day, and I feel lucky at
right, Greg.
50. To be
Oh yeah.
doing that. And when I say that, I don't mean old. We are conditioning our body and our mind at the right age. Because there's some
Absolutely.
people that are diving on the bottom of a bottle, or
Oh yeah.
some substance or food.
Hmm.
For my family, it was food addiction. And whatever your addiction is, it's better to have a passion than an addiction.
Yeah. I think everybody has, and I don't want to call it an addiction, but I think everybody has some kind of passion, whether it is an addiction or just a passion. Everybody has something
Yeah.
that they're really, and there's nothing wrong with that. I told you I quit drinking. I tell everybody I didn't quit drinking. I just don't really drink anymore. You know, it's not like I said,
Yeah.
okay, I'm never going to drink again. I just like, yeah, I don't need it. I'm driving all the time. I don't need a drink. You know, I go in the bottle house. I
Well,
drink coffee and water. You know,
that's
but I
great,
wake up in the
man.
morning
Yeah.
feeling a hell of a lot better than I did when I was drinking 4 or 5 beers a night. You know, I wake up
Your
clear
body
headed.
tells you.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
when it's your time, it's your time, like
Hmm.
anything else, You either love alcohol or you don't, When the love affair is over, the love affair is over, baby.
Yeah, well, you know, I've always been kind of a control freak. I like to be in control. And when I drink,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily in control of myself. You know, I do shit that I probably shouldn't do. I mean, everybody at the bottle house saw me
Yeah.
about 3 or 4 years ago, my birthday, when I was outside holding a pole up. And I didn't like it. I
Was
just
I
want to get
there?
out of here because, no, this was, what was it? I know Swipe Right was playing because Dakota pulled me up on stage and she had her arm around
Oh,
me.
they're
And
great.
I told her, if you let go, I'm going to fall over. Yeah, it was,
Oh my
I
God.
didn't make it till 11 o'clock that night. Actually, my buddy Brian Fitzgerald ended up buying me a Four Horsemen, and that just kind of put me over the edge. And from that point on, I was like,
Oh,
dude, I'm
dude.
done. I'm done.
Back when I drank, those are usually the best nights, usually, unless I was busting up my friends, like, front, you know, uh,
Hmm.
interior on their old vintage vehicle. Brad, sorry, bro.
We've
It was so
all
nice
had
to take
those
me
nights.
home. And he's got this vintage '85 GMC, and I'm just like going fucking. Whoa! And they're so nice. They're like, man, we got to get him out of the car, stick him out the window. So Brad's got me holding out the window, and I'm like fighting the air, so I won't be. This is why I don't drink anymore, because I'm crazy as it is, man.
Well, you
Come
know,
to
I
the
got so
show,
much
you'll
going
see.
on. You know, I got so much going on. I just don't have time for it. You know, I've always got every
Yeah,
day, every night. I've always got something going on, and I actually feel better. Yeah, truthfully, I feel better.
yeah,
You know, I don't have to worry about
yeah. It's a
driving.
commitment,
Yeah. Although, you
true.
know, because,
And there's a
you know,
lot of
I live,
cops.
oh, yeah. Well, I live in Apollo Beach. So I've been pulled over twice
Okay.
coming home from the bottle house at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. Stone sober,
Oh,
but, you know, it's just a sobriety check. And, you know, the guy say, you know, you're out this late. I said, yeah, I know. I'm half asleep, so I might have swerved a little bit. But I said, you know, quite honestly, I haven't drank in a year and a half. And I tell the guys, you know, I appreciate you doing this because, you know, there's a lot of people on the road that shouldn't be on the road at that time. And right now, in my opinion, there's no reason for it with all the options available. You know, you should not
yeah.
drink and drive. And I tell people at the bottle house all the time. I mean, you know yourself. I mean, we've called Ubers. I can't tell you how many times for people that just cannot drive. They would, but they can't. And you know,
Right.
we try to keep that in check as well. We can't control everybody, and I'm sure there's people every weekend that leave there after drinking more than they should and drive. But we try when it's obvious. We're going to say, look, dude, we're not going to let you drive. Give me your keys. We'll get you
Yeah.
home. Just you know, just let us take care of you. We'll get you home. We'll call you an Uber just to make sure you're home safe. And but you
Man,
know,
I
the
miss
bottle
you
house is a
guys.
family. Well, the bottle house is a family. You
I
know,
know
we
you
are.
guys.
You know, the staff,
Oh, I
the
can't wait.
patrons. When I tell everybody that comes in there, like I told you before, when you come in there, you're a friend. Even if it's your first night in there, come over and talk to people. Say hi. We're going to treat you
Yeah.
like a friend. And the
He's
bartenders, the
he's telling the
waitresses,
truth.
or servers are good people. You know, we want everybody to come in there and have a great time. In fact, everybody's going to have a great
I
time on
mean, the first
September 26th.
the
That's
first time
Memorial.
they booked us in there, I was wearing a dress. And I didn't know what the crowd would think. But we opened up with bodies and everybody was really nice to me after that. So all I can tell you is they're very open minded and they saw past, the facade.
Well, tell everybody, if you don't know Damon, you never know what to expect when Damon hits the stage.
Well, we got a great show planned. If you like Nine Inch Nails, we're going to open up with some Nine Inch Nails, and then we got some great classic songs. Try to do a little bit of everything. We've had so many requests. A lot of people that know that I'm coming back. There's a lot of Retribution fans, and I haven't had a lot of chance to thank Retribution.
Yeah.
We kind of had a not a bad fallout, but it was just kind of like a fuck you fallout, like most bands have, and then
Yeah.
we move on our way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I thank Retribution, and I thank more the Retribution fans for they'll be at the show,
Yeah. Yeah.
coming up, and they were at the show fucking 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's just cool that rock and roll and the show will continue to bring good people to good places. The Bottle
Mm-hmm.
House. And
Yep.
thank you, thank
Well,
you for
there is
having
a
me be
that.
a part of.
Like I said, I told you when we were talking the other night, you always got a home at the Bottle House. But there is a song that you're kind of famous for because it's all over freaking YouTube and everything else.
Really?
Yeah, you
Oh
got to get
God.
kind of mellow a little bit and do Purple Rain.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well,
Because that
you
dude,
want to
that's
play it
all.
a
That's like
cappella?
all over freaking YouTube.
Is it
Every time
really?
I
I
punch
didn't
in
know
on
that.
YouTube, that's what comes up. You singing Purple Rain.
Oh
So,
yeah, man.
so not saying you're famous for Purple Rain, but you're famous for Purple Rain, at least in the YouTube world.
Well,
So you said you got to throw that
you
in.
know,
Yeah,
we're definitely gonna play some Prince.
yeah.
I love Prince. Obviously that was a big part of my
Phenomenal,
shtick.
phenomenal musician. Just an amazing
Miss
musician and
him.
songwriter. Oh yeah. I
It
mean,
took a lot out of a lot of us
I
when he
don't think
died.
people to this day still appreciate the impact he had on music. All
And
genres
that's
of
a great
music.
thing.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
cool thing is that people will discover his greatness
Oh
for
yeah.
hundreds of years to come. Kind of like
Exactly.
Beethoven.
Exactly. Hmm.
Beethoven was actually they didn't like him at the time.
I
It
know.
took
Yeah.
hundreds of years of people to actually get him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think Prince will have the same thing. I think 100
Absolutely.
years will be like Paisley Park is in your heart.
But if you think about all the music that he is connected with, all the songs that he wrote that people don't even know that he wrote. I mean, the guy was just phenomenal, an amazing,
Yeah,
amazing songwriter and freaking musician. There's
yeah,
nothing he couldn't play. I mean, the guy was just an amazing.
no,
I think people just they associate him with a certain type of music. With the whole changing his name to a
yeah,
symbol thing and everything, and everybody's like, "Well, this guy's weird." Well, he did that. I think when he did that, it was more of a not a political statement, but a statement. And I've interviews with him when he talked about when he changed his name. He was just trying to kind of make a point, but his music will live on. I mean, his music will live on forever. I mean, he is the Elvis of the last generation, not this one, because we're all older. But I remember
yeah.
back in the '80s and '90s, listening to Little Red Corvette and 1999 and all that good stuff. And then it just got so much
Yep.
better and better and better and better. I mean, I still every now and then I'll just
Yeah.
pop it in and just kind of veg out on 10 or 15 Prince songs. Like, God, this guy was amazing, amazing vocalist, just a
Yeah.
perfectionist to a point. So yeah, you got to
For
do
my
Purple Rain.
family, I will. For my family, it was great because they were such purist country, and Prince was the first pop person that they actually accepted. I mean,
Yep.
how could you not?
Oh yeah.
I would play stuff from Purple Rain. They'd be like, "Well, yeah, he is pretty good, even though he has drums."
Damn
It's hard
drums.
to believe, singing the music that I do now. That until I was 12, I was das was verboten to be in a band with anything but a stand-up bass player, a probably a three-piece kit, and a guitar player, maybe a fiddle player. I mean, my mom was in her own bands, and she promoted old country, and that's what I sang when I was young. I should actually do an old country or bluegrass band. I've thought about doing that, but
Boy,
it's hard
you know,
because I've done rock for so long.
we talked about my father briefly. My father grew up in Brunswick, Maryland, which is a little podunk
Hmm.
town right on the border of West Virginia. So he tells me to this day, and I believe him because my father didn't like Jimmy. My father actually dated Patsy Cline when he was a
Oh
wee lad. Yeah,
wow,
yeah. Because she lived
that's
right there. I mean, she lived
awesome.
right across the border there in West Virginia. I mean, she was just a freaking West Virginia hit girl. I mean, she didn't
Yeah,
become Patsy
yeah, she
Cline
was
until she
fire.
became Patsy Cline. Oh yeah. Yeah, but
She was
he
fireball.
swears to me that
Yeah.
he dated Patsy Cline. I mean, obviously it didn't last very long, thank God, because he
Well,
eventually met my mother, and of course I could be rich and famous right now. Huh.
you might be Patsy Cline's son.
Dwayne
No, I'm just
Klein.
kidding.
I think my
Do
mother
the
would know.
DNA test, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
she would know.
Father's one
If she
thing.
ever takes
Mother,
you
it's kind of
aside.
yeah, it's kind of. And people see
Yeah,
pictures
yeah,
of
you
my
can't really
father and
fake that.
mannerisms. Yeah. When people see pictures of my father and their
Yeah.
mannerisms, go, yeah, you're definitely your father's son. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, he was a
Have
trip.
you ever tried singing any Patsy Cline just by yourself, like
Oh
crazy?
hell
See if you got
no.
that gene.
Hell no. No, well, if I did, I would definitely know that I'm not related to her at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
I
actually
said,
know
yeah.
somebody in Nashville. that is related to her, and
Really?
she's certifiably insane. But she is legit related to her,
Well,
and God
Patsy
bless her. You know,
Cline was a little bit of a I mean, she was a little bit of a wild child. Yeah, I don't think a
she
lot of people
was,
know that.
man.
She
She
was
was
she was
like,
a wild child. Oh yeah.
yeah, she told men, you know, fuck you and kick people in
Oh
the
yeah.
nuts, and you know,
Mm-hmm.
well before it was the Me Too movement.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Maybe that's why Dad didn't
it
stay
wasn't
with
a
her.
movement then.
Yeah. So Dad didn't stay with her because he couldn't
Yeah,
be the man. Actually, he was a pretty
yeah,
tough fart too. So it's just
yeah. She was always
gotta head
into
out. Good
fighting.
to
You
see
know,
you
from
both.
what I've read, Patsy. You know, she liked to
Yep.
fight,
Oh
and
yeah.
that was her bag. You know, she didn't like to make love unless she could get a man properly, you know, angry.
Nah, she
Which
might have
is,
met
you
the
know,
right guy on
we've
the
all
phone.
met girls like that.
Yep.
Yeah, we've all
Greggy
met
said
girls like that.
Greggy's got to head out. Good to see you. See you both on 26. Absolutely, Greg. Looking forward to it, brother. And I'll actually see you Friday night.
Greg, is that Greg
If he,
Kime?
that's Greg, yeah.
Oh, right on,
Yeah.
brother. So, I'm so
He'll
glad.
probably got to
Thank you,
work
bro.
tonight. Yep. And actually, he'll
Yeah,
be there this weekend. So if you want to, if you want to take a quick trip down Friday night, come on down and hang out with the boys from Sobriety X.
hell yeah, man.
It might be.
Come on down.
It's not that far from. You're not that far away from us. What's it about a 6-7 hour drive? Probably longer than that. Probably 8.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
From Nashville, it is 11 hours.
Is it 11?
From Kentucky, it is about 14 hours.
Ah, yeah. I
And
guess
I'm
you're not gonna make
usually
a Friday night trip.
bouncing.
Yeah, you're not gonna come down
Well,
Friday night. Sorry, Greg. We'll see you on the 26th.
sorry, Greg. God, I do miss you though. And when I see you, I'm gonna hump your leg. I promise.
If he doesn't get yours first, just cover
Yeah,
the
well,
boys because
yeah.
you know Greggy.
Yeah, I do know Greg. He likes to grab the family jewel, you know.
Or the old twisters. Yeah,
Right.
I'd say good people. I love those guys. They're a trip.
Yeah.
Every time they come to the
Oh,
bottle
I love
house,
it,
I know
man.
it's going to be a good time.
Oh yeah. They've been good friends for many years
Yeah,
and
like I
supporters,
said, they
you
were.
know.
I decided when I started this thing, the first band I'm going to interview is Sobriety X because if I can make it through that, I can make it through anything. And it was
Right?
like 10
It's
minutes
kind of
into it, I just
their
threw my
thing.
hands up and go, "Take it, boys. It's all on you." And they were a
You know,
blast.
it's funny that you say that because Chuck Powell and his wife Allie
Mhm.
were the first ones to take me to sobriety. It was the night I told you that they got us up and, you know, set us on
Yep.
course. And that's exactly what they said. They were like, dude, you never know what to expect with these guys. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
were serious. They were like, and I get there and there was like broken glass all over the stage where they broke all these shots and there was like 30 shots and they were shit faced. But I'll tell you what, they kicked fucking ass and they
Yeah.
still do. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean? For Butch and everybody, Butch was in Thorndire with my friend Ben, which was like 55 years ago. I don't even know. It was a long time
Probably
ago.
about right.
Um, right. I mean, it was a long time ago. And he still looks and plays amazingly, you know, from his heart. You know, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
the feels come from here, you know. So every time I see them play, it makes me feel good.
Well, and him and Wolf together, sharing guitar duties, it's amazing. The sound is just
I
amazing, and
have
they
not
complement each other
seen that
so well.
incarnation.
They complement each other
I
so
haven't
well.
seen it.
Yeah.
I got to see it. So I'll
Oh,
probably
you do.
tune in. If I'm not there, I will
It'll
tune
be
in if you
live.
guys are still running.
First 2 sets will
Yeah.
be
That's
live.
another
In
great thing
fact,
about
I'm gonna.
Bottle House, man, is the live streams.
Yep. And I'm gonna have a camera above Dave, so I'm gonna be able to zoom right down on Dave, the God of Thunder.
Oh,
He doesn't know
nice.
yet, but this is gonna be the first weekend I'm
Nice.
gonna have that camera view. If everything works out the way I'm hoping it will. Keep my fingers
Yeah.
crossed. So
Well,
it's always
cable's
it's a fun
unlimited.
little game. But the problem is
Cable's
I have to
unlimited.
because I'm running a PTZ camera, so if I run too
Oh,
far, I start to lose signal. So I think I've got it worked out to where I can get it over there and
right.
still maintain signal. So I'm looking forward
I
to it.
had
I have
that
to get there a
issue
little
in
bit
there
early.
too. Yeah, I had that issue in there with GoPros and Wi-Fi. You know, I was trying to do a Wi-Fi thing
Yeah.
for something, and there was so many 2.4,
Mm-hmm.
gigahertz things, and it's on that whatever. I don't know why it's all in the same thing. It's kind of a clog,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. I'm excited, man. I'm glad
Oh
to
yeah.
talk, man. I haven't really talked to anybody in a while. I've been working, keeping my head down, wearing my show blacks. I'll be doing that tomorrow. At the Marriott in Cool Springs, Tennessee, and with my brothers, and we're going to be
Yippee-ki-yay.
building a stage. tomorrow, and I'm on lighting. So I love that. I love lighting and video. We do like
Yeah.
giant video walls and moving lights and just all the stuff I love to do. I'm doing professionally now, and that's a lot better than doing it as a singer and them going, "Hey, what are you doing climbing? Get out of there! Quit hanging lights. You know, you're supposed to be singing. And now they're like, get up there and hang those lights, would you? And quit singing. You know?
No, when you come to the bottle house, no
My, how
hanging
life
lights. Just
changed.
sing. We
Yeah,
will.
I
We
love
won't make you
that.
hang
That's
any
great.
lights.
I
We're actually
remember that
looking
time
forward to it, brother.
I hung the drape or some shit like Visqueen, and I
Mm-hmm.
had two friends, that pulled it down like a reveal, and they were so nice to do that. And we did that once at the bottle house, and you guys were like, "Yeah, sure." And we
We
had
don't
this
care.
like giant Visqueen, and we just pulled it down, and that was all. It was just for the very beginning, and you guys were like, "You can do whatever you want,
That's
as long
right.
as you don't break anything." So very
Yeah,
cool,
well, that
man.
happens occasionally too. So, we actually we love our musicians, we love the bands there, and we try to treat them all as best we can. Like I told you,
Yeah, man.
when a new band comes in, I say you come in as a stranger, but you leave as a friend. Yeah, that's
That's
quite
true.
honestly my opinion.
And
Yeah.
the bands
So
work hard that come to Bottle House, because I know from being at the bottom, and then working my way up to a prominent level there, that when people talk about the Bottle House, it's not like playing the brass, stable or whatever the fuck. I don't
yeah.
know. It's not like playing like this Jimmy Cannies or something,
Mhm.
like this little shithole. People really get excited about playing the Bottle House, and it's like, dude,
Yeah,
we're playing the Bottle House, and it's because you guys give the greatest sound, you guys give the greatest lights, and now you're doing this video thing. I mean, it's like I'm afar. I live in Nashville and I live in Kentucky, so I'm not
hmm,
there entrenched in it anymore, thank God. But I like to visit it. But I can watch it from afar, and what I'm seeing is Bottle House is definitely not doing what other places are doing, and kind of doing like mass takeovers.
hmm,
You guys are staying the course, and you guys are doing what you've always done, but better. And you're continuing to put out good entertainment, man. And that's all a venue has to do. The people that overthink
that's
it are
it.
the ones that fail.
That's right.
And I've seen them come, I've seen them go, I've seen them come. 30 years of this shit.
Yep.
I've seen it from the other side, and I can smell like a fart in a car, a venue that's going to fail.
Yep.
And
We have our
they all
niche.
have.
We have. I've
Yeah.
actually had a few bands tell me that the bottle house is a rite of passage. Playing at the bottle house is
Yeah.
a rite of passage. I said, well, that's a good thing. Sometimes they get too big for us, and they kind of they go their own way, but that's okay. Because a lot of them got their
Yeah.
start there at the bottle house, and once they get to a certain, let's face it, we're a small venue. We can't afford to bring in the big money bands. We have a budget. And we have a
Yep.
capacity issue, and I can't charge a cover charge because people look at me like I'm trying to steal their kid from them. So we
Oh,
have
I
to stick
know.
within our
Cover
budget, and
charges.
yeah, coverage. Back in
Remember,
the day, it
remember
was
back in the
standard.
day,
Every bar you went to.
right?
Now, if you tell somebody $5, they turn around and walk away. Like I'm $5.
Yeah. Like you're
Come on.
panhandling from them.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
you're coming in to watch music, and these guys
Yeah.
set up what people don't. I
Hmm.
guess because of, and I'm not going to sound like an old hippie here, but the advent of phones,
Right.
the alternative is just go to your phone and see the most amazing spear,
Yep.
stuff. So why pay $5 and go see something that's live when you can go to
Exactly.
your phone for free? And that
That
sucks, man. I
that might
miss the
be
Rocket Club days.
exactly.
That
That might be one of the
was
detriments of
fun.
doing the live video feeds every weekend. People are like, well, shit, I can sit home and watch it. But I'm not going to stop
Well,
doing
it
it because I think
maybe
it promotes the bands. So I'm going
very
to continue
true.
doing it.
Keep a large watermark, and just things that I've seen over the
Yep.
years. When we played LA, the whiskey, when it was there,
Hmm.
the Key Club had a really good in-house system. Outside, they had this marquee,
Yeah.
and it's still there, but they would play the bands that are on stage on the marquee,
Hmm.
and they would, offer every band a video or a
Yeah.
recording, that was touring through there, for a nominal fee. Of course, this is the late '90s, but what it did, because they had these huge watermarks, is that
Yeah,
people would pass these around, and it's just nothing but publicity for you guys. If you
absolutely.
um, make sure that your watermark is preserved, and everybody shares their video because they're proud of the performance and they see Bottle House, that's only going to increase your brand.
Yeah, and truthfully, I try every view I do. I can't do it on all of them, but at the back of the stage we have the Bottle House logo. I try to make sure on whatever view I can, I always have that logo in there. Except it's not always possible because some different views I can't get it in there. But we do have like on this the watermark up in the corner. Even this is the Dirt with
Yeah,
D. It's still obviously the Bottle House is very very vested in this. So yeah, this is for the bands and for the Bottle House. It's all promotion, and I tell all the bands the videos are yours. Go on there, download them, chop them up, do whatever the hell you want to with them. They're yours. I'm not going to charge you a
that's
nickel for
great.
doing it. I do it for you guys. So hopefully
And
this
that's
makes
what makes
fans do it.
Tampa Bay special.
It does,
I
yeah.
live in Nashville now. There's a lot of bands that are good, but they don't have that type of support. The clubs don't
True.
do stuff like that for them. You got to pay to
Right.
play. A lot of times you're competing with very rich people who have, paid a lot of money for
Mm-hmm.
this, contrived thing. Tampa, it's very spontaneous, and the people
Yeah.
there help each other, and they actually
Yeah.
care about, you know, things in the now rather than trying to plan a bunch of bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yep, I
And
agree. I
that's
agree.
that's cool.
And it's a
I like the
community of
vibe there. I can't wait.
musicians. Yeah, the community of musicians that support each other. And like I said, that's one thing that's
Hmm.
always impressed me about this area. Musicians support each other.
Me too.
Yeah. Great
I've
thing to
always
see.
come back. I graduated from Plant in
Mm-hmm.
'92, and I've always come back. I did my first show at the Brass Mug in '93, and I'll always be, I'll always live in Tampa, one way or another. You guys
Well,
can't get rid of me, no matter how much you try.
I've said it countless times. You always got a home. As long
Oh,
as long as
thank
the
you.
bottle house doors are open, lights are on, you always got a home.
Oh,
You're
brother,
always you're
thank
always
you, man.
welcome there with open arms anytime you want to come in. I might
Oh,
even
man,
buy you.
thank
I
you.
might even buy you a coffee. Huh.
Oh, right. Well, I drink, and this sounds so like lame, but since I stopped drinking, I see it's not alcohol that I have a problem with. I don't crave alcohol. I'm a fast drinker. I
Mm-hmm.
drink I like seltzer and cranberry, and
I can
I'll
do that
drink
too.
9 of those sons of bitches. And that's why when I was like loving like Long Island's, I get to 5. And
Oh
I'd
yeah.
have, I'd have my junk out, and I'd be like, ah, because, 5 Long Island's, that's too many, but 5, cranberry and tonic,
When
that's
I
my
was drinking,
jam. I
it
like
was
that.
Captain and Coke, and I could put those damn things down pretty quick. And next thing you know, I'm like I said, I'm a 5 of them, thinking, how'd that happen? How'd I drink 5 of these
Yeah,
things already?
I practiced so much drinking, I really did. I practiced drums, and drinking all the time. And I never got very good at either one of them at all. And eventually I just had to stop because it was just bad noise for everybody involved.
you know, being there's something to be said about being clear headed. When I'm in there and I'm working and I'm doing my thing, because when I'm there and I tell my friends, they come in and talk to me. I was like, hey, look, guys, I'm working. It's not like I'm hanging out the bottle house now. I'm actually here working. I'm focusing on what I'm doing. The bad thing is I can't really watch the bands because my face is buried in the computer, switching views and so on and so forth. But I'm actually working. So if you come over and
Yeah.
talk to me and I kind of ignore you, yeah, don't be offended. I'm just now I've got a job to do, so I'm doing that. Wait till break time. Come over and talk to me.
Well, Well, dude, that's one good thing about Florida that I miss. I'm here in Kentucky and Tennessee, and there's a certain amount of like niceness,
Mm-hmm.
pleasantries, in the
Yeah,
South. We're Southern, and
absolutely.
Tampa's on that cusp of
Yep.
Southern and Northern.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's enough Northern people that know that you're working, hopefully, and they know, that if you're busy, they'll leave you the fuck alone. And if they don't, welcome to Tampa. Well,
Exactly.
because it's not like that, here in Kentucky, they'll be like right in the middle of something and they'll fuck what they're doing up to sit and talk to you, and it's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful here. But at the same time, people don't know not to fuck with them because people are so friendly. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
in
Exactly.
Florida, everybody's about their business, and I miss that as well.
Well, I'm trying to
Yeah,
come to that perfect, that middle ground where I can be friendly and talk to people and still work. Occasionally I'll just
yeah,
pop on a static view and leave it there for a few minutes so I can shoot the shit with somebody and then go back to doing what I was doing. But it keeps me
yeah.
awake
Lighting's
actually
fun, man.
doing all that stuff. Yeah, so
How do you
one of the
like
reasons I
doing
really got into
lighting?
it.
I mean, like, do
Rick's
you like
handling all the
doing the
lighting.
lighting?
Back in the
Oh,
old
okay.
days,
Hmm.
when you were actually doing lighting. I mean, now everything's a computer program. You push a button for a scene. You
Oh,
push a button for
really?
a scene. Yeah, I mean, I'm used to the old
Ah,
days with the sliders and the buttons and all that kind of stuff. Back when we had the gels and
mhm.
the it was 170 degrees on stage because it was incandescent lighting. Why's this shit keep
Right.
popping up?
I remember the when they used to bake you. That was.
Oh, well,
I mean, that's why I'm so
people wonder why
pale
you get
now.
off
Is because
stage
of
sweating so
LED.
bad. Yeah, yeah. I get off
Yeah, I've
this.
been
Yeah,
pale ever
tell
since
everybody.
LED.
Yeah, tell everybody we'd lose 5 or 10 pounds a night just sweating. So go up
Oh
on there. It's
yeah, I
like an
remember.
oven. Oh, it
Did
was
you ever play
horrible.
the Rocket Club back in the day?
No. My mainly when
Uh,
I played, it was up in the D.C. Baltimore area. We went up and down the coast a little bit and up north. So I
Hammerjacks?
did that. I played Hammerjacks many times.
Yeah,
Hammerjacks
dude,
is a
that
trip.
place rocks. Now they
Oh
had a
god.
proper stage. You can't say
Oh,
anything
they
bad
had a
about
huge freaking
Hammerjacks.
stage. Huge freaking
Remember Crack
stage
the
with the two
Sky?
tier. Oh yeah.
Yep,
Do you know
Crack the
Ronnie Zeb?
Sky.
Do you know Ronnie Zebron?
Uh, yeah, I've met him, but I
Yeah.
don't know him.
Actually,
I can't
Ronnie is a
call him
good
right
friend of
now.
mine. He's here in the area. He actually lives
Oh,
in this
cool.
area now. He was actually in Soul Circus
Sweet.
Cowboys for a while, and he's still playing. And he's got them things
That's where I
coming
know
up,
the
and
name.
just an amazing, amazing person, an amazing guitar player. Just a all
That's
around
awesome.
fantastic guy. Fantastic wife. Just really good people. Like I said,
That's
I'm
something the cool thing
fortunate.
about
I've known
Tampa
him for a
Bay
long
is
time.
people.
Well, everybody
Yeah,
comes here.
Tampa Bay is yeah, everybody goes there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you get to meet these amazing
Hmm.
people, like Brian Johnson lives
Yeah.
there, and all these cool people, and they just go out to the pub, and they're drinking, fucking
Exactly.
listening to metal, and you guys are
Yeah.
providing the cool music, so it brings
Well,
out these cool people.
Well, Brian Johnson, if you're watching, you can come hang out at the Bottle House anytime. Hell, you can sit at my table. I got a reserved table. Just you can come hang out with me.
Brian,
Oh
it's
shit!
time.
What do you think people would do if Brian Johnson walked into the Bottle House?
They'd probably go over and buy him a drink, and he'd be like,
Well, that
"No,
too.
mate,
Yeah,
I can't
there'd
drink
be
that.
everybody. You got to get up on stage. You got to sing. You got to
You
do
got."
this, or yeah, come hang
Oh,
out. Let's
I'd
get
be so
pictures.
happy.
Yeah, it'd be a trip.
I'd be so happy. I'd be like, "Yes, you sing AC/DC. Hell yeah!"
Exactly. Yeah. Then let
That would be
people
so cool.
like ACDC.
Yeah, man, and it's happened. There's a couple of
Oh yeah.
bands. I think we were talking about Stormbringer,
Mm-hmm.
where he got up and played, or somebody like that. One of
Yeah.
those higher profile bands. But it happens in Tampa. People get a little buzz on, and next thing you know, you're playing with like a Ted Nugent or something. Maybe not Ted
Yeah.
Nugent, but if he is, you're not going to kick him off the stage.
Oh no! Tell you what, Uncle Ted, if you want to come to the Bottle House, I don't care who is playing, what band it is. I'll guarantee you we can get you up on stage.
My man, what
Do a little single.
day, sweet routine?
Actually, the band I have
Yeah.
Saturday night, Nobody's Fool. Dan, the guitar
Oh,
player
sweet.
and vocalist, he does like a Ted Nugent tribute. He'll break into about 3 or 4 Nugent songs. He pulls out the Birdland. He plays the
Nice.
Birdland. Yeah, yeah. They're a
He
trip.
does that.
Good
Was
classic
that
rock
St.
band.
James? What's the singer that he had? Something St.
Oh yeah,
James.
Derek St. James. Yeah,
Derek
or Derek.
Derek St. Holmes. Derek St.
Yeah, Derek
Holmes.
St. Holmes.
Yeah.
Yep, yep, yep,
Yeah. Does he do his stuff? Because I'm familiar
yeah,
with that.
yeah,
And the Wang. Yeah, that's
yep,
awesome, dude.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. They're just a
Early
good
on, that
guys,
was
good
like
band.
that was rowdy music. That was
Oh
fun.
yeah,
After the Stones, I needed something heavier, and Ted
mm-hmm.
Nugent was it. I was like, yeah, yeah,
Nugent
and
was
then it's like it was
Nugent was
fun.
just a wild man. Back then everybody thought he was wild. Well, look at the bands now.
I know,
Remember
I
when
know.
when Alice Cooper was a freak. Well, now he's like
Well,
freaking tame. He's like some of the bands that get on stage now.
he was vaudeville, and a lot of the
Yeah,
bands that came after Marilyn Manson take themselves too seriously.
yeah,
And
exactly.
unfortunately, I mean, look at all the shit they've been through. Alice
Yep,
Cooper's still touring with his family.
yep,
He's still living clean. He's still got
yep,
hot wife. He's still got
yep.
hot children. They're
Mm-hmm.
all healthy. I'm not going to mention any names, but other shock rockers have gone out there, fucked up their health, had
Mm-hmm.
uh, court case after court case after court case, and it shows on their face. I mean, they look
Absolutely.
angry. they look sad, and even though if they're
Absolutely.
performing again, it's just always a comeback for them. Whereas
Yeah.
Alice Cooper has always stayed the
He never
test of
went
time, and
away.
that's why I love him.
Yeah. Alice
He's
Cooper's
my
never a
favorite.
comeback. He never went away. He's
He
always
never
been
went
Alice
away. Yeah, I
Cooper.
love
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
That was my first concert.
Was it really?
Was
Yeah.
Alice? Yeah.
I
Well,
saw
my first concert was Oak Ridge Boys, but my first rock concert was
yeah.
Alice Cooper.
I saw him a couple times back in the 80s, again in the 90s. Yeah, I've seen him multiple times, and he always just puts on a freaking phenomenal show. He is a
I saw him
true
with Kane
showman.
Roberts.
Yeah,
He
really?
is Kane Roberts.
Yeah.
Remember the Kane Roberts
Yep.
era? That's when I
Yep.
saw him, and I was like, "Fuck!
Yeah.
What?
Muscular Kane Roberts. Yeah.
Wow!"
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little country. I was a country kid, and I was like, "Mom, I know what I want to do now." You know. And now look at me. You know. Thanks, Alice. You know. I'd be wearing a cowboy hat by now. You know, motherfucker. No, great show.
Well, look where it took you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
Taking
built
me all
a
around the world.
exactly, and you built a career not just musically, but again, for people that want to watch him before, you've got such a diverse background that so everybody, if you get a chance, go to Wikipedia and Wiki, whatever you call it now, Wiki Damond. He actually has a full Wikipedia page, and I think you'd be pretty impressed if you read into it, and you learn about some of the stuff that Damon's done. It's pretty damn impressive. Go check it out, read it.
Thanks.
Be proud of yourself, brother.
I
don't have a wiki page.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know I did. My manager told me, and he was like, "Can you fix it?" And I'm like, "Can I fix it? I didn't even know I had it." And he's like, "Well, it says you have 7.5 octaves. Nobody has 7.5 octaves." And I'm like, "I didn't write that." He thought I wrote. He's 80 years old, so
Yeah.
he's giving me shit about my Wikipedia as if it's like my Facebook page. And I'm trying to explain to him, I don't
You
know.
don't
I
control
can't
that.
get in. That's a pot. I can't do that.
Actually, I think you can go
And
and there's a place you can go in and claim it as your page and make any corrections. I don't know. I don't have one, so I have no
yeah.
freaking clue. The Dirt with D doesn't have a
Yeah, it's
wiki
just
page.
never been anything. I've always been. I've had one for a long time, and when I joined Sabotage is when they built the Wikipedia page. So I've had.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew then that I had a Wikipedia for Sabotage, and that was back in like 2002. When I was getting the Sabotage fame, and I'm surprised that it stayed. I haven't really done anything, and I've been doing like cover bands and obscure things. So I figured I would fall off the Wikipedia chart.
Well, it's actually a great page because it's not just your musical career. It also goes into, the other stuff you've been involved with, your writing, your publishing, and all that. Like, so how do you think I found out you were in a movie? It was on Wiki. It was on Wikipedia.
Was it X Hamster? No, I'm just kidding. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I that was a great experience. I did it one time, and like I said, it was a little weird, and it wasn't for me. But I got to do it, and I've always wanted to be an actor. I've always been a really I was a good liar as a kid, so I thought, maybe as an adult I'd be a good actor,
Well,
but it didn't work out that way.
I always look at vocalists, lead men. You're kind of an actor. I mean, you're up there. I mean, you're there to entertain. That's what actors do. They're there to entertain. They just have a script.
Absolutely.
You're doing it unscripted.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, it is. It's an improv gimmick. You know what I mean? Right. Like always. And if it's not, then it's not usually funny. Because a lot of times, especially when we were playing a lot, I would try to repeat jokes, and they weren't as funny as the second time.
They never are. I can hear
Especially
a joke and laugh my ass off when I tell
it.
Yeah, when I tell people, look at me like, dude, that's not funny.
Yeah, like
stick
I usually get I get
huh. Exactly.
Until I get a ha. I'm not going to go into comedy. I'm just going to stick to singing, man.
Exactly.
Try to keep talking to a minimum. Less talk, more rock, right?
Yep. All right, brother. We have actually been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. See, time just flies.
No,
everybody says, "What do we talk about?" I said, "Everything, whatever the hell you want to talk about."
Well, hey, you got any questions, man? I'm here for you. There's a lot.
People popping here all the time. This is
I'm actually
people on Facebook that are tuning in.
This is an interesting experience for me because, and I have to be perfectly transparent. I've done very limited interviews. As you know, my background is with Sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
And when Sabotage disbanded, they became Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Yep.
And when Trans-Siberian Orchestra was in its burgeoning years, I was basically a paid uh, person to come in and sing, some backgrounds and things like
Hmm.
that on the records, and promised tours and things like that, but it never really surfaced. And then Sabotage broke apart, and then I, for whatever reason, well, I know why, because everybody kind of went on um, their own course. I wasn't allowed to really talk about anything, you know what I mean? I wasn't really
Okay.
allowed to be very a lot of things were like, if I were to do anything like this, they were like, don't say this, don't say that.
Yeah.
And not that I would say anything, but it's like I feel like the shroud is lifted from this interview, because now nobody told me. We didn't even know we were going to do this interview, so I've had nobody on my neck going, don't say
Yeah.
this, don't say
Yeah.
that. I can say whatever the fuck I
That's
want, so
right.
ask me, I'm honest.
That's why I
That's a
didn't
good
see. I didn't even
feeling.
announce anything till today. It's all of a sudden,
Yeah,
hey,
that's
here's what
great.
we
It's
got. Yeah.
a good way to do an interview, man.
Exactly.
You
That's
got
what
me
I
on my
like to
honest.
keep people guessing.
Yeah, no, it's
But
great.
being associated and attached to that, with them becoming, I mean, Trans Siberian Orchestra. I mean, just look at some of the talent that's been on stage with that band. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
and you were a part of that. I mean, that's something to be extremely proud about, even if you're not doing it now. Just having your name attached to that in some way or another is amazing. Damn,
Well, it was
something big in
there,
there.
the experience, of seeing it grow from, like, theaters back in
Mm-hmm.
2000 to what it is now, and actually kind of being wooed to be a part of the cast. Were all experiences that I had, even though it didn't transpire. It's still stuff that I would never trade. And God bless Paul
Absolutely, yeah.
O'Neill. He was
Mm-hmm.
a great force in my life that changed my entire course. So everything happens for a reason, and the
Yeah.
whole TSO thing was life altering, and it made me a better person in the
Yeah.
long run. It made me know what to do and what not to do.
Well, who knows? If it weren't for that, who knows where you would have gone? Maybe you wouldn't have written
Yeah,
those books.
yeah,
Maybe you wouldn't have done that. So every part of your life is a building block.
exactly.
You learn from
That led
everything you
me to
do.
writing.
Yeah.
I was writing then, and it's kind of funny because a lot of the stuff that I ended up releasing recently were poems that I was writing continuously during the Sabotage
Hmm.
era. The first book, Wandering Poems for Dreamers, are a collection of poems that, after I
Hmm.
lost my mom, I got real
Pop that.
depressed,
Pop
you
that up
know,
here.
and yeah, it's 137 pages of basically I delved into my file. I was really, really tore up after my mom died. It was hard,
Yeah.
especially to lose her to dementia and then see her without her faculties and stuff like that. I got this real serious. I'm kind of OCD, you know what I mean? And writing was perfect for me, because the whole time I was worried about her, I was just tap, 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 getting up at 4 a.m., tap, 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 getting up at 4 a.m., tap, 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 tap. And that's what you got to do. You know what I mean? That's why
Yeah.
a lot of people don't
Exactly.
write books, is because it takes a serious commitment.
Right.
And I, my wife, being the awesome person she is, was like, well, you got all this backstory, all this back
Hmm.
poetry going all the way back to 1984. When I was like 9, 8 years old. You should publish that, and
Yeah.
so I did. I went through and I started, and I have shit written on the back of, like, Domino's boxes and things like that. Stuff I was on a Greyhound with my mom. And I had a tumultuous childhood, but I wrote it all down, man. And as I started to look through it, I thought, wow, I'm a survivor, and instead of
Hmm.
tracing my trauma or trying to figure out, who I am, there it was right in front of me, an entire lifetime. I didn't
Right.
have to go back and trace anything. I didn't have to go back and figure out. I went into my own writing, and I was able to go, 2001. Oh, wow, man, that's fucked up. And then I compare that to 2005, and I was able to make a moral inventory.
Hmm.
And then I published it, and
Well,
it's there for the whole world to see on Amazon.
and you can see how you've grown. Over the years, how you've grown and how
And
you've changed. Yeah. Yeah.
And then at the end, when I was done with it, not to tell a sad story, but I got the call. I was hoping
Yeah.
my mom would live until spring and I'd be able to go back up to New Hampshire and see her. But she passed away in June, and I was going to go up there in July, and I had just finished the book. So the last page was a dedication to my mom, and as I went through it, I realized that I wouldn't have been able to do any of that stuff without her,
Mm.
and without my family and the people that wanted to do that stuff but couldn't, because they were insecure, because somebody told them they couldn't. I was the one that did it, just out of sheer mania. I was losing my mom. And
Yeah.
instead of going and sleeping every day or whatever, or losing myself, I poured all of that into pages because my mom and my grandmother, well, they never could, and it was almost like a tribute to them. I almost felt
Mm.
like compelled. I was on a mission from God, and I'm glad I did it, because at the end, I don't have my mom, but I've got this really beautiful body of work that really
Exactly.
she helped to create. She
Well,
was
you
my
do.
mom during that
And,
time, and now
and
I go
as long
back
as
and
that's
read it, and it makes
around,
me feel,
as long
yeah,
as that's around, you never forget her. Yeah. I mean, it's a tribute to your
yeah. I
mother,
mean,
like you said. Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
the whole first, chapters that, and then there's parts of my life where I'm in my 20s and acting like a nut and being on tour with Sabotage, and the kind of poetry I was writing then, going to, savage places and weird locales in the world,
Mm.
and seeing things that were crazy, but I was able to write poetry about them. And then Diet of
Yeah.
Worms, I was in a band, an industrial band called Diet of Worms, and we toured extensively with Christian Death, which is a gothic metal band. We played Mexico, Canada, and Europe 5 times with them, with Diet of Worms. So I saw everything, man. They were a fetish band, they were like the Genitorturers, and so during that era, I got to learn a lot, and a lot of that poetry is in there. So it's a collective, of like struggle, and some really amazing times, and then where I'm at now,
Yeah.
and it's nice to share it with folks, and I've sold a lot of copies. Thank you guys who have bought them. You guys are
Yeah.
rocking. And if you have any copies, bring them to the show.
There you go.
I'll put lipstick on. I'll kiss them for you.
There you go. You heard it here first. All right, brother. On
Yeah.
that note, it's about time for D to go to bed. I got to get up at
Aw,
5 o'clock in the morning.
D.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks getting up.
Good night.
It sucks having to get
Good
sleep.
night,
Used to
sweetheart.
get,
Well, it's
back in the day, I used to
time
get like 2 hours
to
of sleep and
go.
go.
Boom,
But
boom, boom,
my
boom.
brother and I say that it's always a pleasure. I'm glad we
You
hooked
too.
up again. I'm glad you're coming back to the Bottle House. We're looking forward to it. It was an
Me
honor and a
too, brother.
pleasure having you on here. It was great. I enjoyed it. I think everybody that was watching
Thank you.
enjoyed it as well. And now we're going to see. I'm going to do this edit, so it's going to be on YouTube, little snippets of it. So it'll go out to the whole
Woo!
world, and thousands of people will see it. Okay, you're going to be
Gosh.
famous. You think Wikipedia
All
made you famous?
right.
Wait till the Dirt with
Oh,
D is done
wow.
with you.
Yay.
All my
Thank
14
you.
followers.
Bang. Thank you. I
You're a trip,
appreciate
brother.
it, sir.
Appreciate it.
You
You're a
rock.
friend. Like I said,
We'll
you always
see.
got a home. Yeah, it's
We'll
not
see
too
you
far
soon.
away. A little over a month and a half, and you're gonna be back.
Woo, woo.
It's not that far away. Looking forward to it.
That's
We're
great.
gonna we're gonna
Me
pack the
too,
house for
brother.
you, brother. All right. On that note,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
let you go, my friend. You got to go to work tomorrow too. You got to build a stage.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You get
Thank you,
started
brother.
earlier than me though. All right, man. Always a
Yeah.
pleasure, my
I'm up
friend.
there at 9.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Look forward to seeing you. Lesky just came on and said thanks for the show. Actually, you're welcome, brother. Appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. So I'm going to cut you out of here, my friend. It was a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you soon. And like I said, if you get back earlier, you always got a home. You always got a seat at my table, brother.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate
All right.
that, man.
All right. And on that note, we
Take.
will talk soon. I'm going to tell these people a few more things, and we're going to cut this thing off.
All
All
right.
right, amigo.
Thanks,
I'm going to
brother.
see you. I'll
All
see
right,
you
man.
soon. I
Good to see you.
appreciate you.
Take
All
care.
right. See you. Well, there you have it. Damon, great guy. Like I said, I was serious. If you get a chance, go to the Wikipedia, whatever the hell you say. It's pretty extensive, and I learned a lot about Damon that I didn't know. He's just like I said, a true artist. On that note, again, so this weekend, Friday night, we have the boys from Sobriety X hitting the stage at the Bottle House. Like I said, it's always a great show with Sobriety X. And then Saturday night, we have Nobody's Fool coming back. One of the best classic rock bands, in my opinion, you will see in this area. Dan's going to get up. I'm sure he's going to pop out his little tribute to Uncle Ted. It's going to be a great night. We're going to be packed both nights. Look forward to seeing you there. And on that note, we'll see you on the flip side. Adios.